You've learned that accepting something means giving up, that life will leave you behind if you give up, that everything will fall apart if you don't keep it under control. If that were true, then why does holding on so tight make you feel even more tired? When you try to force life, why does it make you more stressed, angry, and broken? The truth is that you can't really be strong by fighting the water. You have to learn how to float. Buddhists have known this for a very long time. The best teachers found peace, freedom, and deep joy by teaching their students when to let go, not when to win every fight. This can be done by learning to accept life's flow, even when it seems crazy. Tonight, as you listen to these lessons, things will begin to change. You will feel less pressure in your chest. The what-ifs that keep going through your thoughts will lose their power. You'll start to feel a space inside you that is calm, quiet, and steady. Fear and sadness won't be able to touch this space, and life won't seem like a fight when you wake up tomorrow. It'll feel like a freeway. Don't think this is just another sleep aid. This is the way to a new way of life. Are you all set? Let's start. It's time to go through the door now that it's open, not by force, not under stress, but with a quiet strength that comes from inside. We're going to start tonight by finding the first key to a different kind of strength, one that doesn't yell, fight, or break when things get tough. A strength that makes you feel like you're at home. They told you that being strong meant holding on, making hands tight, and pushing harder. What if, though, real strength comes from letting your hands go? What if the power you were looking for wasn't in the fight, but in giving up? But you were afraid to accept it. The world teaches us to refuse every day. Everyone feels like they have to fight against everything from being tired to bad weather to traffic to small things that don't go as planned as soon as they wake up. That resistance turns into a habit over time. You don't even realize it, but that habit turns into a heavy defense you wear. It's heavy for a reason, though. It makes you move more slowly. It makes you feel alone. Being stuck in it makes it hard to feel, breathe, and live. Buddhism teaches a very different idea. It shows that what you might think of as giving up is really being brave, not by trying to fight life, but by learning how to be open to it. When you loosen your grip, even though your whole body wants to hold on tighter. The water in a river doesn't stop where it hits a rock. It doesn't waste its time hating the rock and wishing it would go away. The water goes around it. It changes. It doesn't go against life. It moves with it. Over time, this is how the water forms even the hardest stones. In peace, be patient with power. This is how giving up is not weak, it's smart. Being aware that you can't or shouldn't control everything. To understand that sometimes the best thing you can do is to let go of trying to change the river's direction and instead learn how to float, glide, and trust. But it's not easy to trust someone. You can't just believe or wish it would happen. More than that, it's about a real-life experience that shows you over and over that life moves you forward even when you don't know how. Just think about all the fights that didn't end. Every time you fought a change that was good for you in the end. There were times when you held on to something even after it let go. You weren't saved by that fight. It only made the fall stronger, the sadness deeper, and the fear louder. Fear is what makes people fight back. Fear that you'll lose if you don't fight. Fear that you'll disappear if you give up. Giving up doesn't get rid of you, though. It shows you. What it does is take away the masks, illusions, and shields, and it makes you face something inside you that can't be broken. Being able to deal with things as they are, not how you wish they were, is the most powerful skill you can learn. You build walls with your energy when you fight back. You can use the energy you have when you give up to build bridges. Not to fight life, but to connect with it, so that you can move on with less pain, tiredness, and anger. Giving up your dreams or ideals is not what it means to surrender. It means giving up the need to decide when and how things happen. It means trusting that your job is to just show up totally and honestly without trying to force life to fit your schedule. Because everything in life moves at its own pace. Something changes inside you when you learn to dance with it, listen to it, and trust its beat, even when it doesn't make sense. Anxiety starts to give way to peace. Anger starts to give way to openness. Fear starts to give way to courage. Zen monks talk a lot about the lotus flower. It grows in mud and water that is very dirty and cloudy. Still, it rises above the surface, pure and bright. Not by getting stuck in the mud. You can't hide the mud like that, but by using it as food and fuel for growth. You don't need everything to be perfect to live a happy life. Stop fighting the mud already. Being accepting doesn't mean you have to like everything that happens. Giving up on trying to make a change or becoming passive are not what it means. It means being honest from the start. This is what's going on. This is where I am. That's the only place where real change can happen. That is the only place where real healing can start. When you don't resist, you can see truth more clearly. And you make better decisions when you can see things clearly. You act wisely, not out of fear. Life flows through you. You don't fight it. In Zen groups, there is a story about a farmer whose horse got lost. People around him said, "What bad luck." However, the farmer only said, "Maybe." Later, the horse came back with 3 wild horses. "What luck," they told the neighbors. The farmer replied, "Maybe," once more. Then his son tried to ride one of the wild horses, but fell off and broke his leg. "What terrible luck," the neighbors yelled. "Maybe," the farmer replied quietly. Later, soldiers came to the village to find young men to join the army. The son of the farmer wasn't hurt because he had a broken leg. Things that looked bad turned out to be good. Things that looked good turned out to be bad. The farmer stayed calm through it all. To give up is to understand this. Not right away calling every event good or bad. Not getting stuck on the never-ending judgmental roller ride. Still open, though. Being present. Being sure that the bigger story of your life is bigger than the small part you're living in the present. You shrink when you fight back. Because of your fear and anger, your world gets smaller and smaller. When you give up, you grow. The world opens up for you. There are chances that you would never have been able to see if you had been resistant. Giving up has a quiet joy that comes with it. A deep, long-lasting happiness. Not the kind with loud fireworks that need everything to go well, but the soft glow that stays even when things go wrong. That's why giving up on life means giving up on yourself. Stop letting your energy leak into fights you were never meant to win. Your heart stops beating against walls that aren't going to move, and your mind stops going over and over what ifs. All of a sudden, you have space inside you, a place to heal, room to be creative, peaceful space. Being brave doesn't mean hanging on tighter. It means letting go with ease. It means I choose to trust the river of life, even if I don't know why this is happening. To flow is to not fight. This doesn't mean you'll never hurt. Life has pain, but you don't have to suffer that extra layer of sadness that comes from fighting pain. There, giving up changes everything. There is a lot of power in being able to love even what hurts, because you see it as part of the whole. And there is also a lot of power in being able to face uncertainty without needing answers right away. This kind of strength is beautiful because no one can take it away from you. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It's not about winning, doing well, or getting praise. You have it inside you. Peaceful. Hold on. Not breakable. Giving up is not weak when you're soft. It holds up well. It can be changed. It makes sense. Like how bamboo bends in the wind while oak trees break, along the lines of water slowly cutting through rock. So tonight, as you go to sleep, let your armor fall off too. Don't hold on to the fights you've been living with. Don't beat yourself up over things that you're tired of. You don't need to show anything. There is nothing you need to fix. You don't have to push anything. The river knows where to go. Just let go and float. You will find a strength you didn't know you had when you float. A strength that doesn't come from beating life, but from accepting it. You're not lost. You're not hurt. You're just learning to let go of the stream that was always trying to pull you home. A new kind of life starts when you softly give up. One that not only makes it through the storms, but dances through them. Something even more beautiful starts to happen when you stop fighting life and start floating with it. There's a change in your thinking that you might not even notice at first. As time goes on, you realize that life was never meant to be a straight line of wins, like awards. It was always supposed to be wild, messy, and unfinished. When you look closely enough, you can see that even the times you thought were mistakes hold something good inside them. Sometimes, when things don't go your way, there's a quiet kind of knowledge there. It's not loud, it doesn't need your attention, but it has lessons that mere perfection could never teach. The mind is always on the go, making plans and pushing for the next goal. But life goes in its own way. It goes in circles, with starts and stops, broken plans and turns you didn't see coming. It's easy to think that the delays are what's wrong. It's easy to believe that things would have been better if only life had been nice. But if you look a little more closely, you'll see something amazing. You were slowly changing into a smarter, kinder, and stronger person by the things you used to curse for holding you back. What has helped you grow the most in life has never been when everything went perfectly. Because of the weight, it came along. From the mistakes that made you open up. From the times you thought you were lost, but were really just being led in a different direction. Every failure had a seed in it. Every failure sent a message. Every plan that didn't work out made room for something new to grow. Sometimes, the only way to learn patience is to do nothing when you really want to move forward. There is a kindness that can only grow where there is sadness. Nature never moves quickly. If a tree hasn't grown big enough by spring, it doesn't get upset. When a river runs into something, it doesn't feel bad about making a new path. Only people punish themselves when they don't meet their own made-up deadlines. People are the only ones who call themselves losers when they don't get there fast enough, well enough, or strong enough. What if you were always on time? What if the detour you're on is really the road you need? A cup is still a cup, even after it breaks. Things that go wrong on a day are still part of your story. It doesn't matter if you fail. You can still be loved and happy. The flaws, cracks, and delays are all part of the plan. They make the story interesting. These things make you likable, real, and human. Most of the time, the parts of yourself that other people find most beautiful are the ones that you want to hide. A perfect front doesn't connect with anyone. People bond with each other when they have the same brokenness, doubt, or hope. People in Japan don't throw away broken pottery. Gold was used to fix it. There is beauty in the cracks. They don't try to hide the harm, they accept it. If something is broken, they think it is more beautiful. You too. You don't need to erase your broken plans, your hopes that were cut short, your messy mornings, or your lonely nights. They're like gold spots in the clay of your life. Thoughts like clean lines and happy ends. But real life isn't like that. Life goes around and around. Things move faster in life. Life gets in the way of your goals. Your best shirt gets holes in it because of life. And even through it all, life is still giving you something holy. Still asking you to let your heart open up more, not less. Still telling you that a day's worth is not in how well it looks on paper, but in how fully you lived it, flaws and all. An old story says that a tiger was after a monk. He jumps to the edge of a cliff and grabs a vine to keep himself from rolling off. The tiger growls at him. Below, sharp rocks are ready. He sees a ripe strawberry growing from the side of the cliff while he is hanging there. He takes it with one hand. He eats it with the other. He has never eaten a strawberry so sweet. He doesn't wait until it's safe. He doesn't wait for the best time. That's where he finds beauty, in the middle of fear, doubt, and chaos. Your life is full of strawberries that grow off of rocks. There is sweetness hidden in doubt. There is beauty in the broken moment. You will miss the good times if you are always waiting for the bad ones to end, like fear, doubt, and confusion. You will miss the sweetness that can only be found right now, as things are. Every weight in your life has made you stronger in ways you can't even see yet. You've learned patience, trust, surrender, and perseverance from every plan that didn't work out. Because you got everything you wanted at the right time, you might have stayed smaller than you were meant to be. Some of the things you prayed for would have kept you stuck. Some of the goals you used to hold on to would have stopped you from growing. There are times when the delays you dislike the most are the ones that save your life. When life slows you down, it doesn't punish you. It gets you ready. It makes you stronger. It makes you softer where you were hard. It makes you deeper where you were thin. It makes you feel things inside you that you didn't know you had. Things don't grow in a neat and tidy way. It's hard to grow. Growth isn't sure. It's a sign of growth to get lost, question yourself, fall, and get back up 100 times without knowing why you keep trying. It's wise to trust the mess when things aren't going as planned. Being sure that life is taking care of itself even when you don't. Trusting that the break is not empty but full of work that can't be seen. Having faith that your delays are not dead ends, but rather twisting roads that will lead you to better places that you couldn't have planned for. You don't need to fully grasp everything right now. Right now, you don't need to feel good about everything. You need to stay open. Just take a deep breath. You just have to believe that life is still holding you, even when things feel broken. You're still being made. I still love you. You're not failing because you have to wait. You're not broken just because you're in pain. You're not lost since you can't see the whole map yet. You are in the right place for your soul to learn its next lesson. It is also learning, even if you can't feel it, even if you can't see the finish line. It doesn't matter if all you have are questions and unfinished dreams. Life has a beat that your mind will never fully grasp, but your heart can feel if you pay attention. It's not the beat of due dates or hopes. Time, tides, and breath all move in a beat. The beat tells us that some things need time to grow. There are some lessons that need time to grow. To heal, some things need room to grow. You're not behind schedule. You're not behind. Your soul wants you to grow at this rate. You are showing up just at the right time. The universe has always planned for you to unfold the way you are going. Let the flaws stay that way. Allow the delays to stay that way. Allow the flaws to be the signs that something holy is growing inside you. Don't keep waiting for the right time. Right now is the best time because it's real. Since it's yours, it's enough. You will see the beauty that was there all along when you stop expecting life to go according to your plans and when you stop expecting yourself to be perfect. The strawberry that grows out of the cliff will taste sweet to you. You will feel your heart getting stronger as the gold fills in the holes. After that, you might see that nothing was ever missing, that nothing ever broke. There was no way that the delays or flaws could stop you from living the life you were meant to live. Something even deeper starts to grow inside you when you stop trying to find the right moment and start to enjoy life as it is. A small change in how you breathe and how you think about your own life. You understand that some chapters don't need a clear finish. This means that not every cut needs a perfect scar to be healed. That maybe coming to terms with the fact that you won't be able to find the lost piece is what will heal you. Sometimes you can only feel free when you stop trying to figure out what's going on in life and stop expecting everything to fit together perfectly. Only then can you be truly happy. You learned some time ago that everything that is wrong needs to be fixed, that every hurt must be known, that every goodbye needs to have words that make sense. But what if the parts of your life you haven't finished were not mistakes? If the unfinished ends were holy places that were meant to stay unfinished, what would happen? In real life, things don't work out like puzzles. It's a set of riddles that keep getting better. Some things aren't problems to be solved. They're feelings, lessons, and love that you can feel and let out without having to understand them. One of the mind's smart tricks is to close off things. It says there will be peace if you can just look deep enough into the past and find the right apology, explanation, or finish. But the truth is that peace was never locked behind a door you had to close. You could always find peace when you didn't need the door to close at all. Some people will never tell you what you want to know. There are some questions that will never be solved. There are stories that end without ever explaining why they finished the way they did. You can still be free. You can still be whole. It doesn't help to get better just because someone says sorry. You don't get better just because you figure out why someone hurt you. When you decide that you want peace more than answers, you start to heal. You can heal when you stop expecting life to give you what it never did. A happy ending, a story with a happy ending, a reason that takes away the pain. There are times when there is nothing that can ease the pain. Going through is sometimes the only way out. Carry your questions with kindness instead of anger. No matter how many unfinished talks are going through your mind, you can still live a beautiful life. Forgive yourself if some chapters finished with tears instead of victories. You can smile again. No matter if some ends have never felt fair, clear, or right, you can keep growing. With an unwritten story, the plot keeps building in your mind. It makes room for new pages, people, and meanings that you wouldn't have found if all the loose ends were tied off. Because you want to be closed off, you carry a weight that life was never meant for you to carry. Sometimes you wait in places where no one ever comes in or the door never opens. However, when you let go of the idea that you need to know why to be at peace, when you stop looking for life to explain itself, you enter the wildness of living again. You no longer look back for the finish you never got. Instead, you look forward to the life that is still here, waiting for you to notice it. There's no rule that says you have to understand every goodbye in order to move on. You don't have to get over every breakup in order to love again. The rules you thought were real were really just fear dressed up as logic. You couldn't be okay until you understood everything, because fear told you that. But life, the real world, tells us something else. It says that being free doesn't mean you have to understand everything. It says you can start a new story without finishing the old one. Life's unfinished business will sometimes hum in the background, like music, whose words you can never fully understand. They will hurt sometimes. They will feel soft sometimes when you least expect it. They don't have to catch you, though. They don't need to make you who you are. They don't need to stop you. They aren't scars that mean you lost, but rather signs that you lived, loved, and were brave enough to open your heart in a world where there are no guarantees of a happy finish. A kindness comes from letting things be unfinished. The kind of courage that comes from facing life without trying to make it make sense. A peace that comes from letting loose ends be a part of your story as they are, not from finishing them up. A lot of the most beautiful things in life are unfinished. The song was left unfinished. The picture had rough edges when it was done. The love left without saying goodbye. The parts of your life that didn't end properly aren't the most important. The ones that took your breath away, changed you, and made you feel alive. The fact that your story didn't end the way you wanted doesn't mean it's over. It's not the end of the world that some answers never came. New light can get into your story through the gaps. There is room for wonder in the gaps. You don't have to give up when you have questions. Instead, they are opportunities to live with an open heart, even when nothing is certain. So don't worry about how the last chapter was meant to end when you close the book. Let go of the questions that keep coming up with no answers. Take a deep breath in the middle of the unfinished. Don't be afraid to live in the places that feel raw and unfinished. When the story is over, peace is not there for you. There is peace for you right now, in the middle, in the unknown, in the letting go. And just maybe, you'll realize that the life you were supposed to live isn't the one where you solved all the puzzles, locked all the doors, and answered all the questions. Perhaps it was the one where you danced through the doubt, laughed with an open heart even though your wishes were not answered, and kept loving, trusting, and believing even though the ending wasn't written yet. Your life may be so heartbreakingly and breathtakingly beautiful because of your unwritten story. Another level of freedom starts to show itself once you learn to breathe in the parts of your life that aren't finished yet. You can be free not only when you accept that you don't know the answers, but also when you let go of the deeper, heavier contract you didn't even know you signed. The promise that life should be fair the way you thought it would be. Giving up that old deal could be the most important thing you ever do to find real happiness. Some peace can only be found when you stop thinking that life owes you something, when you stop waiting for the world to say sorry for the bad weather. There was a quiet thought that came to you when you were young. It was wrapped in stories, rules, and promises. Things will go well if you are good. You will get something for your hard work. If you love deeply, others will love you back. You may not have been aware that you signed a quiet contract with life at some point. You thought that things would be fair as long as you stuck to the rules. Life, on the other hand, never agreed to that. By human terms, life never promised to be fair. There is an old and crazy beat to life that is much faster than the idea of fairness. To be too set on the idea that things should be fair makes you not only hurt, but also stuck, angry, and confused every time something unexpected happens. It's not true that life is unfair. Life is really free. Free to move in ways that your mind can't imagine. Free to give and take without explaining, and free to lift you up 1 minute and knock you down the next, without ever looking at the carefully thought-out plan you made. There is no judge watching over the world, keeping track of your good works and giving you rewards based on that. Life itself moves in a huge, uncontrollable way with its seasons, cycles, chaos, and beauty. It ties everything together in ways you will never fully understand. Saying that life should be fair is like telling the ocean that it shouldn't have waves. That would be like saying the wind is too strong. You'll never win this fight, and it will break your heart over time. The mind screams, "This shouldn't have happened," every time something bad happens. When someone betrays you, your heart cries out, "This isn't fair." So the pain is doubled, not just because something bad happened, but also because it wasn't what you thought life would be like. But when you break the old deal and stop expecting things to be fair the way you think they should be, you can experience life the way it really is, not the way you wish they were. Stop arguing with the truth. Stop putting layers of anger on top of the simple pleasure of living. Even though pain still hurts, it doesn't catch you off guard as much as it used to. Joy still pulls you up, but you don't hold on to it so tightly because you're afraid it will be taken away because it wasn't promised. As you go through life, you begin to see it not as a series of awards and punishments, but as a river that flows through all of human experience. And when things are clear, something unexpected happens. Kindness grows. Have compassion for yourself, for other people, and even for the mess that life can be. You need to stop seeing your pain as a punishment. You no longer see your success as proof of your worth. Stop putting people into groups of winners and losers. Stop judging every day by the impossible standard of whether things were fair enough for you to be happy. Giving up the fairness contract doesn't mean giving up on fairness, kindness, or hopes for a better world. You have to accept that these things are not given to you, but you can still choose to have them. When there is unfairness, you can still fight for it without feeling betrayed. Kindness is still possible, even if you don't want a receipt for every good act. You can still have dreams, but they don't have to come true for you to be happy. Life doesn't owe you anything, and that emptiness is a beautiful freedom. You are already here, so you don't need to earn your spot. You don't need to win to show that you're good. You don't have to go through a lot of pain to be able to heal. You are not bound by the old deal. Yes, you exist because you are a part of this crazy, spinning, holy dance that doesn't name things as fair or unfair. It just moves. It only moves. It is what it is. When you let go of the old belief that things will always be fair, you stop taking bad times personally. They are no longer punishments or proof that you did something wrong. Stop thinking that every broken heart is proof that you were stupid or dumb. You learn that pain isn't always a bad thing, and happiness isn't always a good thing. These things are just waves that move through our lives. They're just the tides, which go up and down without you having to say anything. This doesn't make life mean. It keeps life going. It brings life to life. It means that love that is freely given is stronger than love that is traded for something. It means brave actions are important even if no one sees them. It means that being kind is still valuable even if you don't get anything in return. It means that your life can be beautiful and important even if it doesn't match up with someone else's idea of what is fair. That wasn't written in the stars. When you stop wanting things to be fair, you become more compassionate. A kindness that knows everyone is fighting fights they can't see. What everyone is going through in life is a vague thing, that everyone is pulling off the best job they can with the cards they were given. You start to feel lighter, freer, and more open as you walk through the world. Stop clenching your hands every time something goes wrong. You no longer base your happiness on whether or not something is deserving. Instead, you live from a deeper place that knows every moment is a gift, not a deal. That each breath is a gift, not a deal. That each sunrise is a gift, not a prize. When you let go of the old idea of what is fair, you can feel at peace. At peace, you can stop keeping score. That you don't have to figure out how much pain you've been through to deserve a break anymore. That you don't have to keep living in the unhealthy loop of anger and expectation. You can just live. You can just love. You only need to breathe. And living this way makes you strong in a way that justice from the outside could never have. You change into grass that bends but doesn't break when the wind blows. You become like a river that cuts through valleys without asking for thanks. You change into the sky, which can hold both storms and sunshine without saying sorry. Your soul was never meant to be weighed down by what other people think is fair. Never let the contracts you were taught hold you back. Your spirit was always meant to be freer, lighter, and bigger than those. Things won't always go smoothly in life. Not everyone will be nice all the time. Sometimes your dreams won't come true the way you thought they would. You can still be whole, though. You can still be happy. It is still possible to be deeply, wildly, and gloriously living. Today, you can break the old deal. Take your mind off the idea that life owes you something fair. Allow yourself to experience life as it really is, raw, beautiful, crazy, and flawed. Love the world, even if it doesn't love you back the way you want it to. Do not look for peace in perfect fairness. Instead, look for peace in your own very open heart. And maybe you'll feel a strange new lightness in your chest as you fall asleep tonight. A vague idea that you don't need to keep score anymore. That you don't have to wait for life to please you before you can be happy. To live, love, dance, and breathe without being told what was fair. To live, love, dance, and breathe without being told what was fair. And something even deeper inside you calms when you let go of the need for life to be fair. You start to understand that life is not only out of your hands, but it has also been carrying you the whole time, even when you weren't paying attention because you were too busy fighting the flow. One of the most shocking freedoms is realizing that you don't have to fix everything before you rest. When you think that everything rests on you, you start to feel very tired. When you understand that the river will move whether you keep trying to make it go, you feel a different kind of peace. Quite a few people carry a weight that gets heavier with each problem they think they need to fix before they can finally breathe. Every job they haven't finished, every feeling they haven't dealt with, and every loose end makes it impossible for them to rest. Somewhere inside me, I believe that once I fix this, solve that, and make everything right, then I'll be able to rest and relax. There is a flow of life that never stops, even when you are tired. You can't make it stop and wait for you to catch up. It doesn't give you a list of things to do and say that peace will come when you're done. Life keeps going, whether you want it to or not. You don't have to say yes to the stream. It only moves. That's not a penalty either. It is a kindness, because that means you don't have to be responsible for everything to deserve a break. In other words, you don't have to hold up the sky with your bare hands in order to sit down. It means you don't have to keep fixing and managing things in order to have the right to rest. That thing was given to you just because you are alive. There's always something else to do. You can always get yourself into another mess by trying to fix something else. People will always want more from you, jobs that need to be done, and problems that stand in the way of your peace. You will wait a very long time if you wait for everything to be finished. You will never put down your oars if you wait until the water is calm. The sad thing is that the real beauty of life was never waiting at the end of that long, hard race. Inside the will to rest, even when the world seems unfinished, it was always there. You don't have to figure out all of your problems before you can go to sleep. You don't have to make the world a better place before you can laugh. You don't have to carry all of your problems by yourself before you can feel light. The river is still moving, still life breathes. It's going to happen anyway. Healing goes up anyway. When you take a step back, even when you're not moving, even if you close your eyes and let the world spin without watching it all the time. To rest before the job is done takes a different kind of bravery. A trust that not many people talk about is needed. Trust that things will work out even if you try to control them too much. Have faith that you don't have to pull out every single loose thread at once. Have faith that sometimes just taking a step back lets the answer come to you on its own. You don't have to move the water. You don't have to tell the sun to rise. You don't have to tell the seasons to change. Life is smarter than your fears and plans put together. It's also sometimes best to take a step back, open your hands, and let the knowledge move through your life without you getting in the way. What you do when you're scared is different from what you do when you trust. Fear-driven action screams that things will fall apart if you stop even for a second. When you act out of fear, you reinforce the idea that you are the only thing keeping your life together. But trust-driven action knows that you are not in charge of your life, you are a part of it. When you act based on trust, you can work from a place of flow instead of fear. When you act out of trust, you can do what needs to be done and rest when you need to, without feeling guilty. You can put down your problems before they are fully fixed. Even though the world isn't perfect, you can put down your phone, close your notebook, and go outside to feel the wind on your face. You can smile while your questions are still being answered. You can be happy even if your to-do list is a mess and your talks aren't over. You can get a good night's sleep even if some pages are still open, some people are still in pain, or some dreams are only half built. You don't earn rest. You were made to rest. The ground sleeps in the winter too, like how the tides rise and fall. Just like a heart that beats has a break between beats. There is no life without rest. It's impossible to move forward without taking a step back. Struggle all the time is not strength. Being tired all the time is not a trait. The soul needs room to breathe, just like the body does. It's not heroic to be the person who never stops, never breaks, and always makes things better for everyone else while quietly falling apart inside. But real strength doesn't look like that. Strong people know when to row and when to float. Strong people know when to carry something and when to put it down. Really strong people know that letting life go on without constant pressure is not weak, it's smart. The river is still moving. Due dates will come and go. You'll have to pay the bills. Either the talks will happen or they won't. It will take time to heal, no matter what you do. The relationships will grow, end, or change at random times that no one can explain. Yes, you can do your part. Yes, you can come with all your heart. You can't stop all currents, though. You can't tell when a storm will happen. In order to hold on to everyone, every plan, and every dream, you have to break apart. You don't need to. You didn't. It's not being watched, but the trees outside are growing right now. The rivers are making valleys without a plan to help them. Your micromanagement is getting in the way of life's progress. You're smart to believe it. There is a deeper way to live that starts when you stop trying to make everything better before you rest. A kinder way, a way with more freedom. A way that says, I'll do what I can, but I won't give up my soul for the false idea of control. I will love deeply. I'm going to be honest. When I can, I'll do my best. But I'm not going to waste my one precious life being locked up in the bad thought that everything depends on me. The people you care about will go through their own things, make mistakes, and learn from them. Sometimes the problems you're having will get solved in ways you couldn't have imagined. Sometimes you just need to stop and take a deep breath. But the world will keep moving forward. You were never meant to power the river. You were meant to be how it got there. When you close your eyes tonight, feel the weight you've been carrying. Not with a verdict, not because of shame. Feel it. After that, slowly let it go. You don't need to fix everything tonight. To deserve peace, you don't have to fix all of the world's problems. You are strong enough without going against the flow. You can take a break. You are free to move. You are okay to be carried. The river is still moving. Life goes on anyway. Love goes anyway. Growth is going to happen anyway. It's safe to use. You can believe in yourself. You can rest easy knowing that life's flow will never leave you, even if you stop paddling for a while and just let yourself move toward tomorrow. Something even deeper starts to rise inside you when you start to trust the river to take you, even when you put down your oars. You understand that real peace isn't just resting when things are going well. It's also staying open when things are hard. How you deal with things that are too much for you to handle turns out to be the way you find freedom that goes deeper than any moment of calm. An important type of strength is one that is quiet, not hostile, and not driven to win. One quiet sign of strength is being present with what hurts you without letting it change who you are. Most people have a deep-seated misunderstanding. If you accept something, it means you agree with it. Reality is telling you that if you give up, you're giving up on yourself and okaying something that should never have happened. But agreement is not the same thing as real acceptance. Giving up your beliefs and sense of what is right and wrong is not part of real acceptance. It's something much bigger. It means staying true to yourself and not wasting your life fighting something that is already true. It means clearly seeing what is going on without adding more levels of denial, anger, or hopelessness. It means making room for what is, so you can move from clarity to chaos. Pretending that everything is fine when it's not is not smart. Lying to yourself that pain is beautiful when it hurts deeply will not bring you peace. To accept something, you don't have to close your eyes to what hurts. To stay fully present, you have to keep your eyes wide open, let go of your reaction to the fact that hurt is happening, and choose to stay fully present anyway. When you do this, you stop resisting what is real and let yourself breathe with it. It also means letting yourself feel pain without needing it to go away before you can move on. Most of the pain people feel is not from the pain itself, but from the fight they fight against it. The constant fight inside, the screaming in the mind that this shouldn't be happening, the desperate grasping for escape, for going back in time, for changing what has already happened. More pain was added to what was already very painful because of that fight. It holds you back in the very thing you want to get past. There is another way, though, a way to breathe instead of holding your breath, a way to deal with pain as a teacher instead of an enemy, a way to handle even the worst things with a level of respect that no one can take away. It's not a sign of liking the pain to breathe through it. It doesn't mean being quiet or putting up with abuse or wrongdoing. It means not giving up on yourself when you are in pain. It means not running away from your own heart. It means holding on to the truth of what you've been through without letting it make you small, angry, or broken. Yes, you can say, "This hurts," or "I am destroyed," or "This is wrong," without being filled with hate. Feeling hopeless? You can say, "I wish things were different," without becoming unable to move. You don't have to let the pain suffocate your heart. You can breathe through it. The mind and the body talk to each other through breath. When you want to run away, your breath is what holds you in the present. When you're angry, sad, or scared, your breath is always there, ready to hold you steady, not to get rid of the hurt, not to dull it, but to make a place big enough for you to stay alive without going crazy. When you breathe with pain instead of against it, you teach your nervous system that you are safe even when things around you feel dangerous. Being strong even when things are hard is something you teach your mind. Your heart learns that it's okay to stay open even when it hurts. Over time, that practice makes you stronger on the inside in a way that no amount of outside control could ever match. Accepting something without agreeing with it is the basis for doing the right thing. It lets you see what's wrong without being clouded by the need to feel better right away. It lets you answer with purpose instead of just reacting. You don't have to let anger, fear, or sadness push you around like a leaf in a storm. You can choose when and how to act. You can't deal with something well if you can't accept that it's happening. You can't change something that you won't see clearly. Being accepting is not the same as being passive. It opens the door to action that is strong, kind, and clear-eyed. You get back your freedom of choice when you breathe through pain. Now you're not stuck in the automatic loops of fear and protection. Inside your body, you make room for knowledge to rise, patience to breathe, and strength to stretch out and find its footing. As you get better at living with life as it comes up, you become more mature. Being mature means that you don't need everything to be easy in order to be kind. Being able to stand in the middle of sadness and still love is a sign of growth. People who can hold sadness and hope in both hands without needing either to go away show that they are mature. It doesn't help to breathe through pain to make it go away. It makes your heart feel bigger. It doesn't get rid of wrongdoing, loss, or cruelty, but it makes you strong enough to face them without losing your humanity. More people in the world need to be able to deal with pain without making it worse. Who can be scared without making other people scared? How can someone be angry without causing harm? Who can feel sad without getting too heavy? Who can stay present, open and soft, even when their body tells them to shut down, run away, or fight? This kind of deep strength is what Buddhism teaches. It's not the kind of strength that breaks what hurts, but the kind that holds it lovingly without breaking it. There will always be times when you feel uncomfortable in life. You will get hurt. Dreams will go away. It will be like quick storms in your life when unfair things happen. There will be times when you want to scream at the sky and escape from things that are real. There will always be breath, though, peaceful, not changing, true. You can go back to it whenever the world gets too much. No matter how tight, hot, or painful something is, you can breathe through it and find that there is still something that holds you. You still have a part of you that can't be broken by pain. There is still a part of you that hasn't been touched, shaken, or changed. When you accept something without agreeing with it, you honor the truth of the moment without giving it complete control over your life. It's about being honest about your pain and not letting it end your story. You don't have to say, "This is who I am forever," just, "This is happening." Tonight, just let yourself breathe through any pain that's there. You shouldn't judge the tightness, just feel it. Don't try to fix the pain right away. Just feel it. Believe that you are big enough, strong enough, soft enough, and smart enough to handle everything. You don't have to enjoy the pain. You don't need to be happy about the loss. There is no need to agree with the hurt, the unfairness, or the sadness. You can still breathe through it, though. You will get through it. You can change it. As you lay here and gently breathe into the places that hurt, you might feel a deeper peace begin to rise. Not the peace that comes from knowing everything is fine, but the peace that comes from knowing you are, even when things aren't going well. Something even deeper starts to show itself once you learn how to breathe through pain without losing yourself. Realizing in a quiet way that a lot of the pain you feel isn't just from what happened, but also from what you thought should have happened. And maybe the most powerful release of all is letting go of that plot that you can't see. When you stop fighting with life, you can feel free. When you stop telling people how things should be and start dealing with them as they really are. It's not a war with the world itself, but with the ideas people made up about how it should be. A lot of people are stuck in this quiet war. When you look at what should have happened as an invisible background, every loss, every anger, and every heartbreak seems bigger. He ought to have stayed. That chance should have been mine. There should have been less trouble. They should have known what I meant. I needed to be better. These shoulds are whispered by the mind like rules set in stone or broken promises. Each one hurts more, not because reality is bad in and of itself, but because it is being compared to a dream that never existed outside of the mind. Real life never agreed to follow your plan. That's the truth. It never signed the contract you wrote in secret and kept in your heart. You could have the most wonderful dreams in the world, but life was never going to follow those plans. No matter how reasonable your standards seemed, no one had to meet them. No matter how well you planned, things would never go the way you wanted them to. Things in life have their own strange pace, and the more you try to change them, the more tired you get. Every should has a violent side to it. It splits the present into two parts: what it is and what it was meant to be. You have to live in the space between them, but no one can do well in that space. It is a place where there is always tension, friction, and sadness. There is no room for peace to grow there, because peace can only grow where you let reality be what it is, not what your mind says it should be. Every should wears you down. You feel more frustrated, angry, and useless every time you should. Worst of all, most of these shoulds were passed down from parent to child. They were whispered to you by tired voices, hurt ancestors, scared teachers, and a society that wants to control everything that can't be managed. You didn't make the shoulds that bother you. You can lay them down, though. Being quiet doesn't mean you're living without should. It doesn't mean giving up your hopes, dreams, or beliefs. It means giving up the idea that life owes you something just because you want it. To move with life instead of against it is what it means. It means acting out of love and bravery instead of anger and a sense of being owed something. It means picking a path without yelling at the wind for moving the wrong way. You make room when you let go of should. There is room in your mind for life to breathe. There is room in your heart for potential to grow. There is space inside your body where stress can melt away. When you don't have to argue with truth all the time, you feel surprisingly light. The same life that was too hard to handle because of should feels suddenly more free, alive, and full of roots you didn't see before. The mind will try to get you to believe that giving up should means giving up power. But it's not true at all. You get back your real power when you let go of should. That power is to accept life as it is and move on, having the power to act instead of react. The strength to love what's real instead of trying to get what wasn't promised. You don't have to be tied down to what you're sad about that didn't happen. You don't have to live your whole life in pain from the gap between hope and reality. You can grieve it. Whenever you let your grief run, it's clean and helps you get better. It turns deadly when should keeps it stuck in a never-ending cycle of anger. Letting go of should isn't something you do just once. You walk through life with open hands instead of closed fists when you do this. Every day, you have to pay attention to the times your mind says, "This should be different," and gently say, "It isn't," and that's okay. This is the gentle art of letting go of being the judge and jury of your own life. When you stop expecting life to follow your rules, you become more simple. It's clear. Being humble. You stop seeing the world as broken and start seeing it as something that is happening, as something moving, not as something broken, not as something that needs to say sorry, but as something that wants you to dance, even if the music isn't what you thought it would be. You can start living life once you stop fighting it. Completely. With all your might. Quite soft. You can start to feel the miracle of the moment itself when you stop comparing it to a standard that you can't see. Even when things are hard, even the ones that are messy, even the times you swore they should never have happened. That's not what it means to live a life without should. It's about having freedom. Free to love without any rules. Free to hope without being tied down. You are free to work for change without tying your happiness to how things turn out. You are free to move forward without having to carry the weight of 1,000 unfulfilled hopes. Things that hurt will still happen. Things that are unfair, cruel, or upsetting will still happen. But when you meet them without should in the way, you can answer with calm eyes and a steady heart. You don't have to hate life in order to fight for fairness. You don't have to wait for the past to change in order to heal from deception. There's no reason to cry, get angry, or start over. You can do these things because you are strong enough to live with an open heart in a world that doesn't owe you anything. At first, the mind will fight this, stick to old habits and say, "But it shouldn't have gone this way. They shouldn't have treated me that way. It shouldn't be this hard." It will tell you that letting go means giving up. But giving up is not the same as letting go. In this case, it means picking truth over illusion. If you do this, you have to pick your real life over a dream that was never going to keep you safe. You find a power greater than control in that choice. You feel more at peace than being liked. You discover a happiness that doesn't need everything to be just right to grow. As you sleep tonight, slowly become aware of the shoulds that are coming up in your thoughts. Take note of how heavy they are. Take note of how tight, sharp, and small they make your world seem. Then let them go slowly and kind. Don't change anything about yourself or the world without any bias, not under any situation, not because you need everything to make sense. Let life's river run without being told what to do. Let the sky go on forever without any rules. Your heart should beat in your chest without the world telling you why. You were never meant to be in charge of the flow. It was meant for you to move with it. It was never your job to change the script. You were meant to live the story as it is, with all of its flaws and beauty. You're free. Feel free to breathe. Feel free to love. Free to live without having to. You might feel the first breath of freedom as you fall off to sleep. Not because finally everything is fine, but because you don't need it to be anymore. Letting go of the tight grips of how things should be in life frees up something deeper inside you. You begin to understand that the story you've been telling yourself about who you are is just as much to blame as your hopes of life. When you let go of that story, you start to feel free in a way that is even greater than peace. People carry around a weight that almost no one sees, the pressure to always be someone, to always know who you are, and to protect that identity at all costs. But what if the most powerful part of you was never the picture you keep up, but the empty, quiet space below it? You were taught for a long time that you had to be someone. You need to have a name, not just on paper, but also in your mind. You need a label, a job, and a definition that is so strong that no storm could wash it away. You learned how to say, "I am this," and "I am not that." You shaped yourself and held on to it like a life raft in the fast-moving water of life. But every identity you hold on to gets too small in the end. When you take on too many roles, the parts of you that were never meant to be controlled start to suffocate. And the harder you try to hold on to what you think you are, the harder you fight the parts of life that don't fit that story. You didn't come into the world with a name, a job, a set of beliefs, or an image to keep up. You were born as awareness, which means that you are open and free. You breathe and move without having to explain yourself. But as the world left its mark on you, you started to build up layers. Some were given with love. Some of them were carved into you by fear. You chose some because it made you feel safer to be with them than to be by yourself. Over time, the need to be someone closed off the open field of who you are. It feels like an attack when life throws you things that don't fit with the person you've made yourself. When you think you're strong, times when you feel weak are awful. If you think you're kind, getting angry can break your self-image. If you think you're doing well, then failures hurt more than the event itself. The thing that hurts the most is not what happened, but how it fits with the story you thought you had to keep living. Holding on to your identity is a quiet battle against the real world. Life is constantly being edited, and the truth is being changed to protect the part of yourself you don't want to lose. There is no solid personality, though. It was never there. It moves around like sand. It changes shape over time. Before you even hit middle age, it grows, breaks down, and grows back 1,000 times. Each cell in your body grows new ones. Each thought you have today is a little different from the one you had yesterday. The dreams you have now are very different from the person you were a year ago. You don't allow yourself to change when you hold on to a fixed personality. You get stuck in old ideas, old standards, and old prisons. Instead of letting yourself become who you are, you spend your time protecting who you were. When you hold on to an identity with white-knuckled fear, acceptance can't fully grow, because life will always make you question who you think you are. Life will ask you to grow, soften, and give up your idea of who you are so that something greater can live through you. And if you say no to that offer, you say no to life itself. The idea that you are a fixed, constant, and separate being is called the illusion of the separate self in Buddhist teachings. But if you really look, you'll see that nothing inside you is fixed. Thoughts come and go. Emotions are like waves that come and go. Our bodies age, change, and break down. There are different roles that people play. People give and forget names. And underneath it all is awareness, which is still there, open, silent, and unaltered. People are afraid to let go of their identity because they think that if they aren't something fixed, they are nothing. But it's not true at all. Once you let go of the need to be rigid, you open yourself up to everything in the world. It's no longer possible for you to stay in one small room. It's up to you to go with the flow of life and meet each moment not with a script, but with a real, live presence. You are not a sad person when you feel sad. You are sadness going through. When your strength goes up, you're not really strong. You're just power moving through your body. No one is confused when their mind is foggy. They are just consciousness having a short time of fog. You are not the weather. The weather is held by the sky. You're not the mask. You're the vastness that's hidden behind it. If you stop trying to protect who you are, you become softer. A kindness, a lightness. No longer do you need to prove yourself every time you talk to someone. You don't have to force life to reflect the picture you want to keep safe anymore. You don't have to be afraid of making mistakes, losing things, or changing. You know that none of it can change who you are at your core. Holding on to your identity causes you endless pain because life doesn't follow your plan. It will not stay in the boxes you make for it. You're left bleeding from wounds you didn't have to open every time life breaks your standards. But when you take down the walls that make up who you are, you can face life with an open heart. You can say yes to things that would have scared your old self. You don't have to feel bad about letting yourself cry, be happy, or start over. Instead of being afraid, you can move through life's constant changes with ease. You can become too big for yourself. Change your mind if you want to. You can be a different person tomorrow than you were today. You are allowed to have a life that shocks you. You have the right to be a secret to yourself. The old selves will try to get you to go back to them. The mind will ask, "But who are you without this role, without this title, without this certainty?" The answer will come from the stillest part of your being and say, "I am here. I am this moment. I am enough, even without a name." Feel the places where you are holding on tight to a story about who you should be tonight as you sleep. Feel how tired you are from carrying that heavy mask. Feel how tight it is to try to fit your life into a mold that doesn't exist anymore. Then let it go slowly and carefully. Don't be a figure, be a river. Instead of a set monument, let yourself be something that grows. There is no word that could ever describe how beautiful you are. You are so big that no description could ever fit you. You are life itself. You breathe, change, move, rise and fall, and are free. You might feel the first breath of freedom as you fall off to sleep, not because you know for sure who you are after all, but now you don't have to. And when you let go of the idea of a set self, you start to see something even more subtle. You become aware that the things you think about yourself and the place you think you need to get to someday are the ones that hold you back. And the more you hold on to those bright ideas about the future, the more you lose the freedom that was meant to be yours right now. Dreaming can be sweet, but it can also be dangerous if you hold on to your dreams so strongly that they keep you from living. Even the nicest hope can turn into a cage sometimes. Hope is sometimes very lovely. It can make you feel better when everything else seems heavy. When the road goes away in the fog, it can pull you forward. Even if your legs are tired, it can tell you that there is something worth going toward. When you hold hope lightly, it's like a soft light that makes your steps brighter without making you blind. But hope can become a prison if you hold on to it too strongly, like it's the only thing that makes life worth living. It's strange that no one tells you this, but even thoughts that seem good can turn into pain when you hold on to them too tightly. It takes place quietly. A love, a job, healing, or a better version of yourself in the future is what you picture in your mind. Then, without realizing it, you start to compare every breath, choice, and moment to that picture. You move there instead of here. Not now, but later. Slowly, the moment starts to become something you endure instead of living in. Life stops being alive and turns into a waiting room. Your mind loves what's to come. It loves how neat tomorrow is. It loves the thought of a spot where everything will finally make sense. Everyone will be taken care of, and all their needs will be met perfectly. But there is smoke in the future. You can never quite step into the picture of the future. In this imperfect breath, on this imperfect day, life will always meet you. It doesn't matter how far you reach or how big your dreams are. When hope makes you think that you can't be happy until you get to a different place, it turns into a cage. Hope can be dangerous when it tells you that you are not good enough, ready, or whole yet, but you will be, if only someday, or eventually. It makes your heart feel like it's just out of reach of your own life. For some reason, it makes you think that happiness is always just around the corner. Life will never happen later, though. Life never comes around the corner, ready to greet you. Right now, this moment, this feeling, this breath is everything that life has to offer you. Don't worry about tomorrow. If you do, you'll miss the only place where your real life exists, right now. You don't have to give up on your dreams just because you hold them lightly. You don't have to give up your hopes or your desires. It means loving them without being tied down to them. In other words, it means letting your dreams guide you without letting them measure your worth. It means going toward them with open hands, knowing that the dream and the road may change, but you will still be whole even if the destination moves or goes away. When you stop making your peace depend on things going the way you want them to, you reach a deep level of acceptance. When you accept something, you can love the trip as well as the destination. You can dance with life even when the music changes. You don't have to say no to everything that isn't your dream future. You can say yes to what is real. Dreams that you think will save you aren't always big enough for the life you were meant to live. There are times when the goals you hold so dear are just steps toward a future you can't even name yet. If you hold on too tight, you might miss the gifts that life is trying to give you out of the blue. It's impossible to get through the door that just opened if you tie yourself to the dream you had when you were younger. Your plans are not as smart as life. Your dreams are not as important as life itself. Life is more creative than you think it is. You have to be ready to accept it, though. You have to be ready to let go of the fantasy you made in order to hold the wonder that is being held for you. There's nothing wrong with having dreams. It's possible for the soul to reach for its own light through dreams. You give up your freedom when you chain yourself to your dream and tell yourself you won't be happy until you reach it. You're giving up the chaos of life for a small hallway that only leads to waiting, longing, and being unhappy all the time. Having too much hope can make even happiness feel risky. You're afraid that taking it easy now will make you slip up. You're afraid that taking a break now will mean you've given up. You are afraid that enjoying small things will somehow reveal your bigger dream. You never had to choose between thinking and living, though. Your life was telling you to hold both hope and presence, longing and thanks, vision and acceptance in the same gentle hands at the same time. The less you hold on to your dreams, the more room you have to live them. Not always the way you thought it would be, not all the time when you planned, but sometimes in ways that are so full, strange, and beautiful that they make your old dreams seem small. If you love the life you have now, you are not giving up on your future. You're not giving up on your dreams if you find happiness in the middle, where things aren't quite right. By letting yourself fully experience this beautiful but flawed moment, you are not giving up on your dreams. Life has a beat that your mind will never understand, but your heart does. It goes in spirals, rapid bursts, and seasons that you wouldn't expect. It doesn't move the way you want it to. It doesn't open up like a ladder that you can climb straight up. It spreads out like a wildflower, growing in the cracks, shocking, humbling, and making you happy when you least expect it. Take a moment to feel your dreams tonight while you sleep. Put their weight on your heart and feel it. Feel how tired you are from holding them so tightly that your hands have forgotten how to open them. Then give them a little room to move. Allow them to breathe. Allow them to dance freely in the vastness of your being. You can dream without having to suffer. There's no need to get stuck in the future when you dream. Feel free to live fully right now, even as you move toward what calls you. You might still be able to reach your goals. You might grow out of them. Life might give you something even more beautiful than you thought possible. But no matter what, you don't have to put off being happy until a long time from now. It can rise right now, in this breath, in this life you're already living. There are more doors than the ones you thought would save you. There are other roads besides the ones you thought you had to take. You don't have to reach all of your dreams in order for your soul to grow. Have faith in the river. Believe the wind. Believe that life is moving through you, even if it takes you somewhere you didn't expect. And maybe, as you fall asleep tonight, you'll feel the sweet, painful beauty of holding your dreams lightly, not like chains, but like songs on the wind, free to rise and fall, change and live. When you let go of the future and let your ideas live, something even deeper starts to come to the surface. Now you know that not only your dreams about tomorrow can trap you, but also the feelings that are running through you right now. The next step toward a truly free life is learning how to deal with these waves without getting swept away by them. Sometimes a quick, powerful storm comes up inside all of us, but the real harm does not come from the storm itself. It's because they think the storm will last forever. There are times when the sky inside you gets darker for no reason, when your feelings come in like wild winds and break the peace you thought would last. Your mind is filled with fear, sadness, anger, grief, loneliness, and confusion, and you feel like you're going to be swept away. You feel like their strength will break you. You feel like you have to fight them or give up and let them win. There is, however, a smarter and quieter way to do it. Emotions are not seen as attackers or punishments, but as passing storms that are strong but only last a short time, and are fierce but not forever. You were taught to be afraid of certain feelings from the time you were a child. You learned to hide your sadness, fear, and anger, and to smile even when you were having a terrible time. You learned that feelings were issues that needed to be fixed, fights that needed to be won, and foes that needed to be defeated. But feelings are not bad things. Feelings are guests. They are bringers of news. They're like waves moving through the huge ocean of who you are. They rise, peak, and fall, just like all waves. The feelings themselves don't cause the pain. It's your resistance to them that does, from the things you make up about them, because of the fear that says, "This feeling will never go away," and the doubt that says, "This feeling means something is wrong with me." But the truth is more gentle, kind, and compassionate. The truth is that feelings are just normal flows of energy. They come because you are still living, because you are linked to life. They move, they pass, because that's how they are. There will be more fear. Raise it up. You will feel sad all the time. Let it rain. Your chest will feel like lightning as anger strikes. Allow it to flash. You don't need to fight these feelings. You don't have to catch them, fight them, or give them a perfect answer. You can just breathe and believe that they will pass through you like the weather. No storm lasts forever. When you stop asking, "How do I get rid of this feeling?" and start asking, "How can I stay open while this feeling moves through me?" you learn that you can stand in the rain without melting, feel fear without falling down, and cry without losing your balance. Emotions aren't like walls. The flow is currents. They look like clouds that change color from gray to blue to gold. They're like winds that come and go, and there is always a darker sky below them that isn't touched. There in the darker sky is you. Being aware of the sadness without being broken by it is what it is. It is the presence that sees the anger but doesn't act violently. It is the stillness that can hold your sadness without making your heart hard. You don't have to believe everything your feelings tell you. Even if you are safe, fear will tell you that you are not. Even if love is all around you, sadness will make you feel alone. Getting angry will make you want to destroy everything, even if being patient is the better thing to do. You don't have to base your whole life on these feelings, but you can feel them fully. The most important thing you can do when the storm inside you starts is breathe. Feel the ground under your feet. The weight of your body on the ground should feel good. Feelings should come and go, but you shouldn't hold on to them out of fear or force them to go away. Have faith that your heart can handle this. Believe that your breath can help you get through this. There will be times when the thoughts are too strong, too big, or too much. There will be times when you want to hide, run away, numb out, or yell. You can forgive yourself for following your gut. They are people. They are part of an old dance that helps people stay alive. That being said, you are no longer a simple child. You can now handle your own weather without getting hurt. You can breathe. Your mind is clear. You can stay fixed even when the winds of change howl through your soul. And staying doesn't mean getting lost. Getting stuck in sadness or anger for a long time is not what it means. It means letting the feeling last as long as it needs to, without making it last longer or shorter than it should. What this means is letting it rain without staying in the water longer than necessary. It means to let the feeling stay as a guest for a while, giving it a place to sit, but not making it a permanent resident. Not all feelings go away at the same time. Grief can stay with you for a long time. When the nights are long, fear may come and knock on your window. It's possible for anger to burn like fire under your ribs. But even these can move if you don't tie yourself to them. These things will become less important if you don't build your personality around them. It's okay to fully feel things without becoming what you feel. It's okay to cry without becoming sad. You can get angry without destroying yourself. It's okay for you to shake without getting weak. You're not the storm. You are the sky. Feel what's going through you tonight as you rest. Not with a verdict, not with fear, not quickly to fix or change. Just pay attention. Take a deep breath. If it needs to, let it rise. When it's time, let it fall. Have faith that your heart can handle everything. Do not believe that any feeling is final. Perhaps sadness comes tonight. Stress may be buzzing around in the back of your thoughts. Maybe anger builds up slowly. It's all right. You're not broken just because you have feelings. You're not failing because you're in pain. You are just a person going through the beautiful, painful, and real experience of being alive. And as the night goes on, you might start to feel the first signs of a deeper peace. It's not because the rain stopped, not because you tried too hard to feel better. Just in case you forgot, you are bigger than the weather inside you. You remember that feelings come and go, but you stay the same. Peaceful, strong, open, no cost. And the sky inside you might still be changing when you wake up tomorrow. There may still be clouds in the sky this morning, but deep down, you'll know that your feelings don't control you. You're the ocean that keeps the waves in place. You are the sky where storms happen. You are the life that flows through everything. You can't be stopped or broken. Something even deeper starts to show up once you remember that feelings, like clouds, come and go without making you who you are. You understand that life itself moves and changes, not just your feelings. Everything you love and who you are is affected by time, and the key to real peace is learning to love things that won't last. When you finally let yourself love, not because you think things will stay, but because you know they won't, it's so sweet, it almost breaks your heart. There are times in life when you hold on to something and it slips away. Every face you love will look different. Everyone is going to age. Long distance will affect every friendship, every connection, and every dream. Life's winds of change will affect every journey. You can't hold on to anything too strongly because it will change. But the beauty is still there, even though it's over. Because it does, it gets even better. You have a part of you that wants to fight this. There is a part of you that wants to stop time, bottle happiness, and hold the people you love in a place where nothing can hurt them or take them away. That's not how life works, though. Life has breath. Things happen in life. Life doesn't grow, die, and bloom again in a perfect circle. Instead, it does these things in a crazy dance that never ends in the same way. The bigger sadness isn't in the changes themselves, in the fact that you won't accept them. When you hold on tight to something and say, "Stay, stay, stay," Even though everything alive has to go, that's when the pain is the deepest. You start to see things differently when you realize that death is not a punishment, but a normal part of life. You love more deeply and more gently at the same time. When you know that you won't be able to hear a friend's laughter forever, you start to enjoy it more. It's not that you begin to value the warmth of your own body, but because it will end. You begin to see wrinkles not as threats, but as holy lines made by time's rivers. You start to appreciate beauty because of death, not because of it. When you accept that everything you love will change, you gain knowledge. It's not a bitter truth. It is not a lost knowledge. Because this won't last, I will love it even more while it's here, says a kind of soft, open, shining knowledge. Getting older is not a failure. Getting old is not a mistake. Life keeps going, and getting older is a sign of that. Every line on your face, every ache in your bones, and every change in your reflection is a love letter from life itself. It's there to tell you that you are a part of something bigger, something that will always be moving, even if its forms change. You have to slow down when you love what is mortal. What does it ask you to notice? The way light moves across a room, the feel of someone's hand on yours, the sound of laughter rising and then falling silent. Really see the people in your life, not as things that will always be there for you, but as living, breathing, changing beings who will one day only be memories. When you look back, you won't have to say, "I was too busy chasing something else to notice what I had," but you should live your life that way. There will be loss, things will change. This is not mean. This is what it means to be living. Every beginning is tied to every finish. Every hello hides a goodbye. Each birth already carries the hint of its own death. Still, it's all worth it. In any case, it is all so achingly, dramatically beautiful. The trees let go of their leaves every fall, not because they have failed, but because it is time. The rivers do not mourn the water that flows out to sea. The sun does not grieve the setting of its own light each evening. In nature, there is no holding. There is no desire that things stay as they are. There is only the endless bowing to change, the endless trust in the beauty of every phase, every stage, every season. You too are part of this. You too are meant to live, to love, to lose, to change. And the more you fight, the more you suffer. The more you open, the more you find that even in the letting go, there is joy. Even in the ends, there is wonder. Even in the empty areas left behind, there is room for something new to grow. You are allowed to grieve what happens. You are allowed to mourn what is lost, but you are also allowed to celebrate it, to see it, to bless it, to say, "Thank you for being," even as it falls out of your hands. If you love something that will die, you have to be willing to be broken-hearted sometimes. It means you choose to live in the open, even if you know it will hurt. Giving your heart to something you can't keep is what it means. You can reach a level of love that you could never reach if you asked for promises. People you love will change. You'll change. Your life will flow and take you to places you can't see yet. Everything is fine. It's all part of the dance. It's all part of the song. As you sleep tonight, enjoy the sweet sadness of loving something that won't last. Allow yourself to feel both the pain and the joy at the same time. Remember that every breath is a gift that won't come back quite the same way. Hold on to your precious life gently. To get through change, you don't have to make your heart tough. You don't have to close your eyes to stay away from sadness. You can stay open. You can stay soft. You can stay a person. Maybe the bravest thing you can do is not try to keep yourself safe from loss, but let yourself love anyway. It's possible that the smartest thing to do is not to fight change, but to welcome it. Maybe the best way to find happiness is not to try to make life last forever, but to love its wild, short beauty with all your heart. You're strong to love things you can't have. You're smart to enjoy the moments you know will end. You have the guts to dance with life, even though the beat changes all the time. It's possible that, as you fall asleep tonight, you'll feel the soft sweetness of this truth in your bones. You decided to love it, not because the world told you it would last forever. And when you learn to love life, even though it's short and always changing, you start to feel something even deeper. You begin to understand that not only is everything shifting, but a lot of it is moving in a way that you could never stop, no matter how hard you tried. Giving up the false sense of control makes room for a deeper knowledge to finally come to the surface. A quiet strength waits for those who are brave enough to say they are not in charge of the whole ship. You might feel like the ocean is taking you somewhere better than you ever planned, but only after you stop trying to control the waves. You were taught from the start of your life that control meant power, because you would be safer if you held on tighter to your plans, dreams, and situations. That with the right amount of work and planning, one could be sure to live a life free of pain, surprise, and failure. That's not how life works, though. Life will always find a way to get through your walls, no matter how well you build them. Life changes and goes in ways you didn't expect, no matter how tight you hold on. At first, this seems like a fail. At first, every failed plan seems like an insult. At first, every loss that comes out of the blue feels like proof that you should have worked smarter, harder, and faster. But there is something different and kinder waiting behind that tiredness. You were never meant to be in charge of everything. The truth is that your limits are not what make you weak. They're what make you stronger. There is a smart side that you can only find when you stop trying to control life. It's only when you're not ashamed of your helplessness that you can reach a certain level of knowledge. It's not being smart enough to plan every move. It's not smart to think of ways to avoid every danger. There is a deep intelligence in life that moves through you, carries you, and guides you. It doesn't use maps and promises, but a deeper intuition that only talks when you are ready to listen. You make room in your thoughts when you let go of the idea that you are in charge. There is room for new ideas that you would not have seen if you stuck to your old plans. There is room for talent to grow, room for ways that don't make sense to appear, plenty of room for smarter answers than anything you could have pushed into being by force of will. I have to know the answer, fix this, and make everything go the way I want it to, is a fake kind of strength that is easily broken. That strength is easy to break. You get so tired from that strength that you forget what it's like to be light in your steps. A real kind of strength says, I'll do my part, but I won't act like I run the whole show. I'll trust life to move forward on its own. That kind of strength bends without breaking. That strength pays attention. That kind of strength doesn't fight change. It dances with it. You're not weak just because you can't handle everything. You are smart because you know it. You're not failing just because your ideas don't work out. Being free to move with what is real instead of being stuck in what was meant to be lets you live, breathe, and grow. It is smart enough to change the seasons, grow trees from tiny seeds, and change caterpillars into butterflies without them having to make a single plan. You are just as smart as that person. You can't hear it, though, if you are yelling directions at life. When you are busy trying to keep every moment in order, you can't feel it. To let it move through you, you need to be soft, open, and quiet enough. Stopping is sometimes the best thing that you can do. Don't force. Fixing is over. Don't expect life to explain itself to you. Take a moment to sit in your own silence and breathe. Feel how big everything is around you. Feel the quiet hum of something bigger than your fear and the way your mind keeps going around and around. Feel how something inside you is still living, moving, and alive even when you don't know what to do next. You were never meant to be in charge of the river. It was meant for you to learn how to trust its flow. It was meant for you to pay attention to the beats in your heart. One moment at a time, you were meant to feel your way forward, not because you know you will be safe, but because you value life more than safety. There will be times when you forget about this. There are times when fear grabs you by the throat and makes you clench your hands again. Times when you'll be rushing to fix, solve, or take charge. It's all right. You are a person. There's no need to worry. But every time you do that, every time you feel tired again, you can choose to go back, to take a step back, to put your hands together, to take a breath. The end of your strength is not being able to do anything. It's the start of it. This is the spot where your mind stops being limited and your spirit starts to talk. It's where you understand you're not alone in the world's weight and are a part of something big enough to hold you. Being inactive doesn't mean you trust life. It doesn't mean not doing anything. It means doing what you can without being afraid and with an open mind. It means to move without holding on. Giving your best without letting the result change how happy you are is what it means. As you move forward, keep your heart open and know that you are a part of something bigger than your goals. You are free to do something, dream as much as you want. You have the right to build, make, love, and hope. However, you can also give up things you can't control. You can let go of the parts of the load that were never yours to carry. Feel the parts of you that are still trying to hold the sky up with your bare hands while you sleep tonight. Feel how tired you are from trying to figure out everything, fix everything, and see what will happen. Feel how heavy it is to act like you're in charge of everything. Then set it down carefully and with love. Let someone carry you for a while. Come along for the ride on the river that has been running since before you were born and will keep going after you die. Trust that you don't need to see the whole map to know what to do next. Trust that you don't have to make life happen when you want it to in order to get where you need to go. You might discover that the deepest knowledge you were looking for was already inside you, but was hidden by all the noise of trying so hard to be in charge. You might feel the first hints of that greater intelligence in your chest, guiding you not with set plans, but with a calm, knowing sense. You might be able to breathe better than you have in a long time as you fall asleep tonight. No, not because things are finally good again, but now you know you don't need it to be. And as soon as you give up trying to control your life, something even quieter and stronger starts to show up. You understand that not only the outside world, but also your own responses are changing. When you realize this, there is a gateway, a soft, steady pause where real freedom finally starts. A breath of silence lives right between what happens to you and how you react. This is the moment most people miss. Everything about your future can change there. Most of your life, you've been told that reactions happen on their own. When someone says something mean, you get angry quickly. When sadness hits you hard, anger spreads without your permission. Your body tightens up out of the blue as fear rises in your chest. There are times when you feel stuck in these emotions, and like you have to go with the flow of the wave, no matter where it takes you. You haven't been taught how to find the room, though, the space that is always there, the area between the world and your answer. At first, it's a small room that you can hardly see, a very small amount of time, a small breath, but everything is inside that breath. You have the power to change things in that breath, not because you make yourself, not because you try to hide how you feel, but because you remember that you're more than just a bunch of automatic responses. Being aware of yourself is you. You are the only one who can stop, breathe, and watch the feeling rise without giving in to it. Being able to take a break is due to acceptance. For those who push against what is happening out of anger, fear, or denial, they are caught right away in a response. There is no room, only fight. You can take a step back from the storm when you accept what is, which doesn't mean you like or agree with it. In the forest of your mind, you make an opening. You find the room where something new can start. The people and things around you will always test you. People will say foolish things. Things will not go as planned. Fears will creep into your dreams. You will wait a very long time if you wait for life to be free of triggers. You can stop being a doll pulled by every string, though, if you learn to live in the pause. You change into a completely different person who acts without being forced to. The break will feel weak at first. It's possible that you'll miss it sometimes and catch it others. You'll feel more angry, but you'll still speak too harshly. You'll know that sadness is coming, but you'll still give in to it. This is not a fail. Take this as practice. One breath at a time. This is how you learn to make the space bigger. For better results, try finding the pause over and over again. It's safe to slow down and stay soft even when the world feels hard. Teach your nervous system this over and over again. And when you move slowly, you'll see options you hadn't seen before. Instead of responding badly to something said, you might decide to keep quiet. You might choose to be kind to yourself after a failure instead of giving up and feeling hopeless. You could choose to move forward with gentle bravery instead of being afraid. It doesn't change how you feel during the pause. In honor of them, you can feel them without being suffocated by them. While still letting them affect your thoughts, words, and actions, it lets them touch your heart. Stress and anger are not bad things. They're like clouds moving across your mind's sky. The break lets you feel the rain without getting lost in the flood. You get back in touch with your real self every time you find a moment to pause. Not the scared self that acts out, not the self that shrinks away in shame. However, the self that is broad enough to hold all events without being broken by them. The self that can see anger but doesn't turn mean. Someone who can see sadness without giving up is called self. Seeing fear without becoming stuck is part of yourself. The space is made by acceptance. The pause is made by space. The break gives you space. Freedom lets you make new decisions. A new life starts with new choices. It doesn't have to go really well either. It doesn't always have to happen. You don't have to become a monk right away. Each and every time is important. You are changing the way you are every time you catch yourself before your automatic response takes over. It's like setting seeds that will grow into something stronger than you ever thought possible. Think about how different your life would be if you lived in spacious answer instead of automatic reaction. Every wave pulls and pushes you in one life. In the other, you're standing calmly on the shore, watching the waves come and go without having to worry about getting washed away. You are stuck in a never-ending cycle of sorrow and anger in this life. In the other, you move through the world with ease, steadiness, and a quiet strength that no one can take away. Taking a break is not about controlling how you feel. It has to do with holding them well. It means letting them rise without letting them take over your heart. It's about being stronger than the short-term rise. It's about having faith that you are strong enough to stay soft even when you want to get tough. Today, while you sleep, think about a time when you acted out of pain, fear, or anger. Not with a verdict, not because of shame. Just pay attention. Then ask yourself if there was even the tiniest bit of room there. Was there a breath that could have led to a different path? Feel how just noticing something is a form of freedom. Feel how just being aware of something is the start of something new. You can live a different life even if you're not perfect. You only need to want to do it, ready to see, ready to take a break, ready to make a choice. On some days, the old responses will come back faster than you can catch them. There will be times when the storm inside you is too strong. It's all right. Forgive yourself. Start over. Every breath is a chance. Every second is a chance to say yes. Giving up is not a sign of weakness. Strength comes from having this. Giving up on your dreams or growth does not mean you accept what is. It means getting grounded in the real world so you can make something real. To see things as they are without fear, doubt, or the need for them to change before you can live. Being able to accept things is what gives you pause. You get your power back during the pause. You might feel the first sweet threads of that power waking up inside you as you drift off to sleep tonight. Not because you made them, it's not because you fought for it, but because you let it rise slowly and naturally from the space you made by pausing, breathing, and trusting. Something even more subtle starts to happen once you learn to find the pause before you respond. As you go through life, you begin to understand that it is not based on fixed ground, but on a mysterious dance that is always changing. You can't find true peace by trying to hold things in place. Instead, you need to learn how to stand still on ground that wasn't meant to stay still. Some kinds of strength don't come from holding on tighter, but from letting go more. Sometimes the security you're looking for is just around the corner after you give up every promise you thought you needed. A deep desire lives in most people to find something that won't move. It's something that won't change, that you can count on. Friendship that will never end. A job that makes you happy all the time. There is a plan that will work out exactly as planned. A future that seems set in stone, safe and certain. The voice in your head tells you that you will finally be able to rest if you can just find enough solid ground. You'll be able to breathe again. You will no longer have to be afraid to live. But life has never been based on rock. Life is always moving. Things change in life. Life is without a foundation. You are not on a rock. You are in a river. You're not walking on a road that will never end. You're flying in the sky. Your health, your relationships, your dreams, your body, and your future are all moving, shifting, and changing, even though you can't see it. We try to hold on to certainty, expecting solid promises from a world that is always changing. This is what causes a kind of quiet pain that drains your spirit. Find something that never changes, that won't help you feel more confident. To build it, you have to learn how to adapt to change. It is built by learning to trust yourself when there is no ground beneath you. Sometimes you have to learn to stay open, soft and awake, even when there are no promises, no plans, and everything you thought you could count on starts to move around you. You have something inside you that is stronger than fear, a place that can stay steady even without knowing what will happen next, a place where life can come in without having to first explain itself. Getting promises won't help you find that place. To find it, you have to trust. Don't just believe that everything will be fine, but have faith that you can handle anything that comes your way. You will get through it. You can go with the flow. The mind will fight this. The mind will want clarity, like someone who is drowning wants air. Building towers of plans, walls of strategies, and moats of backup plans is what the mind does to try to find safety islands in a sea that was never meant to be won. But in the end, even the biggest walls fall down. Plan after plan breaks down over time, even the best ones. Not having a reason is not a bad thing. There's nothing broken. It's not a flaw in the way life is made. It's just the way life works. You find that it is not your enemy when you stop fighting it. It's your teacher. It's your way. You can't be brave by acting like nothing will change. Being brave means taking a step forward without knowing what will happen. Giving into a life that won't always keep its promises is what makes you truly strong. You can't find real peace by making everything predictable. Instead, you need to learn how to live in the unknown. When you no longer need solid ground under every step, you feel lighter. A calm happiness, a fierce kindness. You begin to understand that life is lovely because of the unknown, not because of it. Because it can't be frozen, the morning is beautiful. It's special to hear a friend laugh because you can't be sure you'll never hear it again. Not being able to stop your beating is a miracle in and of itself. You start to live differently when you accept that you have no roots. Don't clench your teeth all the time. Stop holding on to every event. Don't judge every connection by how long it lasts or how tightly you can hold on to someone. You stop holding your hands tight and start to greet life with open hands. There will still be times when people are scared. A part of not having a reason is also fear. Fear grows when you can't tell what will happen next. When old maps fall apart, people are more afraid. That's fine. You don't have to get rid of fear in order for trust to grow. Fear doesn't have to be strong. You don't have to let fear run your life. When fear arises, you can say, "I see you. You are trying to protect me. But I do not need to know everything to move forward. I do not need to control everything to be safe. I do not need to grip life tighter. I can trust what is bigger than my fear." There are times when you don't have to love the unknown. Inside it, you are asked to trust yourself, to have faith that you can handle your fears, to have faith that you are strong enough to move even if the path isn't lit up all the way to the sky, to believe that the way will sometimes show up only when you go into the unknown. The trees grow even though they don't know when the next rain will be. The rivers move forward without knowing what kinds of rocks they will come across. The birds don't use maps to find their way. They believe an ancient pull that is stronger than their knowledge. You have that kind of wisdom too. You are also a part of that bigger intelligence that moves without having to be sure of anything. As you sleep tonight, feel the parts of you that still want to know what will happen. Feel the stress of trying to lock down a life that was never meant to be locked down. Feel how tired you are from trying to plan everything so well that no pain can ever happen. Then let it go slowly and carefully. Rest in the fact that you have no place to stand. Do not worry about what you don't know. Just breathe. Let yourself enjoy the strange, raw, and soft joy of living without a contract that says how things will end. You might find that the freedom you were looking for wasn't on the other side of making sure your future was safe, but on the other side of giving up your desire that it be safe. If you're lucky, you might feel the start of a deeper kind of security than certainty. That sense of, I don't need to know what will happen. I am here. I am breathing. I am enough. As you fall asleep tonight, you might feel the flow of life carrying you forward. It won't be because you forced it or planned it exactly, but because you finally let go and trusted it to take you where you were always meant to go. Something even deeper starts to show up once you learn to trust the open ground beneath your feet. You begin to understand that life is not about picking one side over the other, but about keeping them together. It's not possible to find true peace or joy by running away from sadness or pain. You can find it by letting both of them be a part of the same open heart. There is a deeper strength that comes from not taking a side, but from being still in the middle and letting happiness and sadness, peace and restlessness, hope and loss live together inside you without tearing you apart. You were taught to choose for most of your life, to choose the good things and get rid of the bad ones, to find happiness and get rid of sadness, to show off success and hide loss, to want peace and stay away from fighting. But life never agreed to be so nicely split up. Life never said it would only give you the good parts. Life never promised you happiness without sadness, love without loss, or light without darkness. There is a thread of fragility in every moment of laughing. You know that the moment will pass. You cared enough about someone to hurt them, and that hurts inside every sadness. Every win has a sound of every mistake that was made along the way. Every moment of peace is accompanied by the sound of all the storms that led to this quiet. Choosing only the parts you like won't make you whole. You get it when you accept that life is a mess of difficult, beautiful, and opposite things. When you understand that you are large enough to hold conflicts without falling apart. You can be happy and sad at the same time. In the same word, you can feel strong and scared. Even if you have a lot of hope, you can still feel sad sometimes. You're not broken just because you're feeling a lot of things at once. You're not weak just because your heart isn't neatly put into groups. You're still living. You are a person. You are huge. The mind wants to clear things up. It needs a nice plan. It wants to say, If I'm sad, I'm failing. If I'm scared, I'm weak. If I'm restless, I'm broken. But the heart knows better. The heart knows that happiness and sadness can dance together, that being afraid and being brave can go together, that restlessness can live next to peace without hurting either one. You can feel more at peace when you stop trying to tell your feelings what is right and wrong, good and bad. Peace that doesn't rely on everything going your way. A real calm. Peace that can stand in the middle of a storm and still be able to breathe. A peace that can sit with sadness without getting sucked in. A peace that makes you laugh even when your eyes are teary. You can't get this kind of peace by forcing your feelings to go away. To find it, you have to embrace them. By saying, "You are all welcome here. Happiness and sadness, light and dark, certainty and doubt. You all have a place inside me." You stop being afraid of yourself when you accept your flaws. Stop treating some feelings like enemies that you need to beat. You stop running away from the parts of your life that don't match your idea of how it should be. You don't try to change life, you just let it be what it is. You find yourself when you let go, not the little self that has to be perfect, not the scared part of me that needs everything to make sense, but the real self, the big self, the self that can hold everything that comes and goes. You will be less afraid of change if you let more conflicts live inside you. The less upset you are by life's changes, the better. Let life be messy, complicated, wild, and real. This will make you more open to the wealth that comes from that. You don't have to be happy every day to say that your life is good. You can't say that every relationship is love if there are no fights in it. You don't need every plan to work for you to be worthy. You understand that a good life doesn't mean never having to deal with pain. It's a life where sadness and happiness sit down together, where thanksgiving and grief drink from the same cup, and where hope and heartbreak pray for another dawn. You understand that you can be restless and still be where you need to be, that you can have doubts and hope at the same time, that you can be tired and still really live. When you stop wanting things to be easy, you become stronger. A strength that says, "I can handle everything." A strength that says, "I don't have to be one thing at a time. I can be many things, shifting and swirling, and still be whole." Feel the contrasts moving inside you while you sleep tonight. Feel the sadness that doesn't take away your happiness. Feel thankful, but don't let it take away your desire. Feel the peace that can hold your restlessness without trying to kill it. Feel how big you are. Know how strong you are. Not because all of your problems have been solved in a neat way, but because you let everything be here and breathe with you simultaneously. Maybe the real goal of healing was never to make things stay the same. Maybe learning to hold the crazy, contradictory music in your heart with kindness instead of criticism was always the real way to heal. And maybe, as you fall asleep tonight, you'll feel the quiet wonder of this truth sinking into your bones. That you don't have to pick between light and dark, sure things and question, happiness and sadness. You are meant to fully live in all of it, hold it all, and be the wide sky that all of the soul's weather can pass through. And when you let all of life's paradoxes breathe inside you without trying to sort them out or shut them down, another quiet truth starts to show itself. You understand that not only your feelings need more room, but the whole world does too. It was never meant for that life to fit into the small box of your ideas. Giving up the need to control everything means you are truly free. There is a peace that comes when you stop trying to label everything and don't need every moment, person, and experience to fit into the small boxes you've made in your head. The mind likes to make decisions. It likes to sort, measure, and split things. Right away and fully, it wants to know if something is good or bad, right or wrong, safe or dangerous, worthy or not worthy. The mind thinks that if it can quickly name everything, it will be able to go through life without fear, doubt, or surprise. Labels don't work for life, though. Life isn't neat enough to fit into neat groups. The mind can't put an opinion on life because it's too big, messy, and full. Each thought you have about the world is like a small hole in a sky that never ends. The view is blocked by it, but most of the sky can still be seen. When you hold on tight to your beliefs, you don't see things more clearly. You see them less clearly. You've put yourself in a box and think that your small window shows the whole wide world. Life keeps going, even though the mind says, "This is how things are." Life is always changing. Life keeps showing you new sides that you can't see from where you are. Every decision you make stops life in its tracks and turns it into a still, Zen picture that doesn't show the whole truth. Then, instead of responding to the real world around you, you stay stuck in that Zen image and only react to your own opinions. Thoughts are not bad. They're part of being flesh and blood. They're how our minds try to make sense of a world that's too big to understand all at once. But when your ideas become firm beliefs and you forget that they are only parts of the picture, you lose the flexibility that lets life teach, surprise, and awaken you. Acceptance means letting life be bigger than what you think about it. Do not forget that each person you meet is more than the story you tell yourself about them. It means keeping in mind that every situation is more complicated and deeper than what you think at first. It means keeping in mind that life doesn't have to go the way you think it will, and that this is a gift, not a failure. You will suffer more if you insist that life should be like what you think. Holding on to your opinions makes your world smaller based on your fears and past events. Let go, loosen your grip, and let each moment happen as it may, without forcing it to follow a script you've already written. This opens up a world that is infinitely more living. Having an open heart is what makes you wise, not having the right ideas, because they are ready to be wrong, because they wanted to see more. After letting life teach you things you didn't think you'd learn, you can still choose what you want. You can still care about things. You can still fight for what you believe in. But you don't have to lock yourself up in your choices. Truths don't need to be used as tools. You don't need to fear being changed because you love the truth. The world changes all the time. It's living. It's taking in air. It comes up with new puzzles every day. It's possible to keep growing when you let the world be bigger than your thoughts. You let things happen to you that you would have turned down before shape you. You let people weaken you when you would have judged them too quickly. There are times in life that you might have missed because you thought you already knew everything it had to offer. As you sleep tonight, think about the places inside you where your beliefs have grown too strong and fixed. Think about the times you've held on to a view of life, other people, or yourself that makes you feel tight, small, or like a burden instead of a gift. Then let it go slowly and kindly. Allow the world to be bigger than you thought. Give the people around you more depth than you judged. Make yourself less clear than the names you've worn. Allow life to surprise you. To be at peace, you don't have to understand everything. To feel safe, you don't have to put everything into groups. You don't have to boil down life's complexity to a list of ideas in order to find your place in it. It's possible that faith, not knowing, is what makes you really safe. Trusting that you can handle every situation as it comes up. Believe that you are big enough, soft enough, and strong enough to live in a world that is different, wilder, and more beautiful than your mind can picture. It's possible that real understanding doesn't come from narrowing your view, but from making it bigger. No matter how much you stand in the middle of mystery, it will shrink down until it fits inside your old beliefs. And maybe tonight as you fall asleep, you'll feel the first soft breath of that freedom fill your chest. Not because you got all the answers right, not because you knew all the answers, but because you remembered that life was never meant to be tucked away in a safe, small space. It was meant for you to dance with it. It was meant to make you wonder. It was meant to change you over and over again for all time. And something even more tender starts to show up when you let the world be bigger than your mind's small thoughts. It dawns on you that you haven't been trying to shrink the world alone. You have also been trying to shrink your own hopes, dreams, and quiet images of how life should have gone. When those dreams break apart against reality, a part of us longs for a release that most people never let themselves feel. People often feel a quiet sadness that they don't even realize they have. It's the grief of all the things they wanted, all the plans they planned, and all the versions of life that never came to be. You are not taught how to mourn the life you did not get. There is no one who can teach you how to grieve the hopes and dreams that were like secret promises. You are taught to be sad about death and other big losses that you can see. You're not told what to do with the small deaths, though. The quiet deaths, the loss of the job you were hoping to get, the end of a friendship you thought would last forever, the false hope of a better self that never came true. This is also a loss. These are real. You feel heavy with them until you let them go. They bring you down in ways you can't always explain. What you expect is like an unseen thread that runs through your heart. There are stories they tell you about how things should be, about what kind of person you should become, how you think other people should love you, about how you should live your life. And when reality doesn't match up with those threads, it feels like a betrayal, like a deep, painful tear in your being. Most people try to quickly fix these tears. They take their minds off things. Self-talk tells them to move on. They act like it didn't make a difference, but the pain stays deep down. Not said, not acknowledged, not yet out. It turns into a bad taste until it feels dead. There is a quiet loss of touch with life itself. There is another way, though, a kinder way, a better way. You can be sad about the hopes you lost. It's okay to remember the dreams that kept you going, even if they were never realized. You don't have to act like your sadness doesn't exist. You can make room for it. To honor the futures that never came true, you can hold a quiet funeral and light a candle for each one. This time, use love instead of anger. Losing hope is not the same as giving up. It's not being weak. It doesn't mean you failed. It shows a lot of respect for your own humanity. The feeling is like, I see you, my old hopes. I thank you. I release you. It frees your hands from the ghost of what could have been so you can fully enjoy what is now. There's no need for a big ceremony to let go. It's not necessary for everyone to see. It might be as easy as being still and writing down what you wanted but did not get, saying it out loud, putting it down, allowing tears to flow if they need to. If words don't seem enough, let the silence hold you. To do this, all you have to do is breathe into the empty spaces and say, "It's okay. I am still here." There is a knot inside you that gets loose every time you let yourself grieve an expectation. The past is taken care of for you. You make room for something new to grow, something real, something that isn't based on fiction, but on acceptance. Some hopes are not very high. Some of them are huge. Some of them you forgot you were carrying until life gently, broken, gave them to you. It could be the hope that a parent will always get you. Being sure that a love will never leave. You expect your body to always be strong, your dreams to come true, and the road to your goals to be smooth. When you cry over these things, it hurts to say how much you cared. Life doesn't bend to our wants, no matter how good those wants are. It hurts to accept that. But you can only start to heal fully when you let yourself feel the pain instead of running away from it. You can forget things that never happened. You can be sad about the wedding that never happened, the job that didn't take off, the person you thought you would become in the past. You can cry about the lives you'll never live, and you don't have to feel bad about it, because letting go of hopes and dreams is an act of love for the part of you that dared to hope, believe, and dream. Love for the part of you that kept going even when life didn't look like it would. You were not wrong to hope. You're not stupid for having dreams. You are a person, beautifully and amazingly real. And being ready to feel the loss of what could have been is what keeps your heart living, soft and open. Some people think that you will become hopeless if you cry too much, but refusing to cry is what makes people hopeless. The heart becomes hard and cold when it is numbed, denied, or pushed away. To really grieve is to soften. Real sadness sets you free. Real sadness moves the water inside you that is still so that life can flow again. Feel the quiet sorrows you've been carrying tonight as you rest. Feel how heavy the standards were that you never let yourself mourn. Don't see your sadness as something bad. See it as something holy. You could light a little fire in your heart for each of them, for the bonds that broke up, for the dreams that broke apart and disappeared, for the dreams that fell apart in your hands. Light them up with kindness. Light them with pride. Give them light by being thankful that they appeared, even if it was only in your mind. After that, let them go slowly. Let them go like lights made of paper on a dark river. May God bless them as they move away from you. Thank God you loved them so much that it hurt when they left. You don't have to carry around all your old hopes like a ghost. You don't need to keep judging your worth by things that couldn't happen in the past. You can take a smaller step forward, more freedom, better. Losing hopes and dreams doesn't mean you'll stop thinking. It means that you will dream with your hands open instead of closed. It means you won't carry around broken plans as you move forward, but instead will trust your own ability to fully live with whatever life brings next. Tonight, as you fall asleep, you might feel the first sweet taste of that freedom rising inside you. Not because the past doesn't hurt as much, but because you can finally respect it. bless it, and let it go. And as soon as you let yourself regret the futures that never came true, something even softer starts to happen. You understand that the heart is heavy not only with lost hopes, but also with the heavy, never-ending question that comes up when life doesn't make sense. That painful need to know why, to solve the puzzle that can't be solved, to make life make sense before you can find peace. But there is a more profound way to live, and it starts with respecting the sacred pause before asking for solutions. You will be free when you don't need every heartbreak, every turn of events, and every prayer that doesn't get answered to have a neat reason tied to it. There are times when life breaks you so suddenly and totally that why is the first word that comes to mind. What happened? Why now? Why me? Why them? Why do it this way? Thoughts are racing to come up with any kind of answer that will soften the pain and make things seem a little less crazy. Because deep down, you know that if you can figure out what caused the problem, you can fix it. The pain can end if you can figure out what's causing it. Life isn't always easy, though. It's not always easy to get clear, logical answers in real life. Things break down for no clear reason sometimes. Sadness doesn't always have a neat story to go with it. Grief can hit like a storm, with no notice, no plan, and no one to say sorry. And trying to make life explain itself makes the pain worse. It turns your pain into a puzzle that you can't solve for all time. You can learn to enter a holy pause during those times. A break before the mad rush to find out why. A pause that says, maybe it's okay to not know right now. It might be okay to not try to figure out what's going on right now. You might not be able to find the peace you're looking for in an answer that still needs to be found. There may already be peace here, just waiting for you to stop digging and take a deep breath. The mind will fight against this. It will say that you need to figure out what caused it, or it will never get better. It will scream that not knowing is dangerous and that you need to get over your doubts. It will make you want to make up stories to pass the time. Stories that make you feel bad about yourself. Claims that others are to blame. Stories that use pain as a way to punish people. But the heart knows more than that. The heart knows that not all pain has a clear cause, that not all cuts have reasons for happening, that life moves in strange, unpredictable ways that are sometimes too big for you to understand. And that doesn't mean life is bad. It just means there is a lot of life. You can make room for something bigger than answers when you no longer need them. You make room for people to be there. You make room for kindness. You make room for repair that doesn't depend on knowing something. When you love something, you let it heal, not when you solve a problem. You are free to inquire as to why. You have the right to wonder. You can sit down with your questions. You can stop looking for answers that will never make the pain go away, though. You don't have to wait for the mystery to make sense before you can heal. You can rest in it. There are times when the most holy thing you can do is just sit with your own sadness without trying to make sense of it. Instead of adding more noise to the chaos, sometimes the most important thing you can do is just breathe through it. When the questions stop, there is an understanding that comes up. A understanding that comes from being there, not from having answers. Something clear that says, I don't know why this happened. I do not need to know that in order to live, love, and breathe. You're not broken just because you don't know what hurt you. The fact that the puzzle pieces don't fit together nicely doesn't mean you're failing. You are just a person in the middle of a world that is too big for your mind to fully comprehend. The holy pause is not about giving up on what there is to mean. It's about realizing that meaning isn't always right now, intelligent, or in a straight line. It's about recognizing that some gifts come to you slowly, over time, as you live your life and as you become who you are meant to be. As you sleep tonight, think about the questions you've been having. Feel the deep whys that keep going through your mind. Feel the need to solve them, to firmly stitch the wound closed. Then take a moment to pause in a soft, caring way. Come into the silence that is beyond the questions and take a deep breath. Rest in the fact that you don't know. Do not worry about the answers. Be held by something bigger. Have faith that healing can happen for no reason. Have faith that peace can come even when things are a mess. It's possible that you'll never know why some doors shut, why some people left, why some dreams fell apart. Perhaps you will never be able to figure out what caused what. And that might be fine. Maybe you don't need a courtroom full of proof to heal. Maybe all you need to heal is the will to stop fighting what you don't know. Trust is shown during the holy pause. Trust that life is still carrying you, even when it moves in strange ways. Believe that there is value in the world, even if you can't see it. Trust that your soul is growing, even when things don't make sense. And maybe as you fall asleep tonight, you'll feel the first soft waves of that inner peace coming up inside you. It's not because the questions have been solved, not because there is no more pain. The reason being is that you finally stopped trying to figure out a puzzle that was meant to be lived, not solved. There is something even more profound that you can see when you let yourself live in the holy pause without trying to make life make sense. There are two things that keep the pain alive: the questions you don't answer and the quiet wars you fight against your own feelings. That what you push away stays behind. It sounds like it. It grows stronger roots. And the real freedom doesn't come when you win the battle. It comes when you give up. Few people are taught this quiet truth, but everyone has to learn it at some point. The more you fight what hurts, the stronger it gets. The more you push it away, the deeper it sinks into your bones. As people, we all try to avoid pain at some point. We tell ourselves that it will finally leave us alone if we can fight with it, tell it not to be true, or beat it. We try to get rid of our sadness by doing other things. We use anger to drown out fear. To get over our sadness, we act like we're already better. But fighting pain doesn't make it go away. Pain doesn't go away just because you don't want to see it. When you fight pain, it gets stronger, it gets bigger. It wraps around your heart tighter, not because it wants to hurt you, but because you haven't given it a safe place to be seen, felt, loved. The mirror principle is both easy to understand and very scary. What you fight will stay with you. You are controlled by what you deny. Things you try to avoid coming back to you, not because life is mean, but because you need to heal, and you can't heal without the truth. You are trying to stop the movement that is trying to free you when you fight your own pain. It's not the feeling itself that makes you hurt forever. It's the fight against the feeling. It's the pulling in, getting tight, the frantic attempt to change the way the river flows. You're tired because of the war you fight inside yourself, not because you're sad, scared, or lost. You can feel the change if you can settle down for even one breath. You can tell that a lot of energy has been used to fight life instead of living it. Being okay with pain doesn't mean you love it. Being okay with being scared doesn't mean you enjoy it. When you accept what is, you stop putting up walls around it. It means you shouldn't keep making swords to fight what's inside your chest. Something starts to change when you open your hands and say, "I will not resist you anymore." The terrible pain starts to get better. The sadness that seemed to last forever starts to move. The fear that was holding you back starts to breathe. Pain is like having someone come over. It knocks more loudly if you act like you're not home. It hits harder when you yell at it to leave. As long as you open the door, even a crack, and say, "I see you," they might leave you alone. Sometimes it will stay with you for a while. Sometimes it will teach you something, like a gift wrapped in rough hands. If you accept it, though, the story will always be different. It's okay to not like everything you feel. You don't have to agree with everything that happens to you. You don't have to fight it, though. You can face it by being brave and saying, "This is also part of my path." When you do that, you get back the energy you lost when you fought yourself. You take back the softness that lets you heal. Even this will pass through me if I let it. Trust comes back to you. Most of the time, the places where the most powerful recovery is trying to happen are the ones you fight the most. Your sadness is telling you it needs to be grieved so you can feel lighter. Any fear you try to hide is really fear that wants to be felt so it can let go. The anger that you push away wants to be heard, respected, and then let go of. Despite the pain, the wound stays frozen. It can breathe, move, and heal when you accept it. This doesn't mean just sitting there in pain. It doesn't mean giving up. It means learning to keep your soft spots where you used to get tough. You have to learn to breathe where you used to hold your breath. You have to learn how to open up where you used to close down. You can't beat your own heart. Love is the only way to make it whole again. As you rest tonight, think about the places in you where resistance still lives. Pay attention to how you are getting tight against life. If you don't want to feel something, pay attention to where you are squeezing. Don't judge or feel bad about taking notice. Just pay attention. Second, invite those spots to soften in a tender, gentle way. You don't need to push it. You don't need to rush. Just ask. Take a deep breath. You have the right to feel everything. There's no need to hold up shields against the wind. You can let it go through you. You are allowed to be human, to care, and to be in the process. You might find that the feelings you were afraid would kill you are not as bad as you thought they were. You might learn that sadness is more like a river when you feel it all the way through instead of a jail. If you fully accept your anger, it might burn clean and then go out like a fire that has done its job. You might find that when you face your fears, they get smaller until you can handle them with ease. You can learn from the mirror concept that what you love makes your inner world react, not what you fight. Not to what you try to stop, but to what you let happen. When you stop putting walls around your heart, you can heal. Freedom comes when you stop seeing parts of yourself as bad guys you need to beat. And maybe as you fall asleep tonight, you'll feel the first soft waves of peace coming up. It's not because everything is simple, not because I don't feel anything, but because you're not fighting shadows anymore. You're not wasting your power. because you are finally standing with your hands and heart open, letting life flow through you the way it needs to. When you stop fighting what comes up inside you, something deeper starts to whisper through the silence. You realize that you were never just trying to control your feelings. You were trying to control life itself. Each and every plan, every list, and every desperate attempt to write your future down came from the same fear. You don't have to master everything to live a different way. Instead, you have to give in to the wonder that was always moving through you. Before you start writing every line of your story, there is a quiet power waiting for you. You just have to believe that the author you can't see might know better ways than you could have imagined. You learned how to plan right from the start, to draw, to put together. You learned that you could make your life what you wanted it to be if you set enough goals, planned enough details, and guessed enough results. You thought that being in charge meant you were safe, being sure meant you would succeed, and that making your own future would be better than letting fate decide what would happen. It might have even seemed to work for a while. Taking the right steps, being careful, and coming up with the best plans made it seem like life was something you could handle like a job and shape however you wished if you worked hard enough. But life will eventually break through that fantasy. A plan doesn't work out. A road goes away. There is a door that should be open but is stubbornly shut. Something in you breaks at that moment. The mind works quickly to fix it, make a new plan, and give the impression of being in charge again. But if you listen more closely, past the fear and the noise, you will hear a different call. There is a small, wise voice that says you might not have been meant to be the only author of your story. Maybe there has always been a smart person behind the scenes, making something bigger, stranger, and more beautiful than anything you could have written on your own. Giving up doesn't mean you accept that you don't know who wrote your life. That doesn't mean doing nothing and letting everything happen on its own. It means living your life with your hands open instead of your arms clenched. When you believe that the river knows where it's going, even when you can't see the end from where you stand, you have to listen more carefully and move more slowly. You don't make bad plans. They're a part of the way you dance with life. They're not the whole dance, though. They're just ideas, not facts. They are not prisons. They are starting places. If you think that your plans are promises, you will be hurt over and over again. But if you don't set too many goals, you let life surprise you, lead you, and take you to places you would not have found by only following the map. Life is filled with knowledge that your mind can't figure out. This is intelligence that grows trees from seeds, moves the waves across the oceans, and creates stars without plans or permission. That same intelligence breathes life into your body without your permission, heals your wounds without your order, and brings people into your life at just the right time, without you planning it. Things start to change for you when you trust this inner intelligence. After a while, you stop pushing directions and start to look for signs. You start to notice that some doors open easily while others won't let you in, no matter how hard you try. You start to notice the small pushes, the quiet coincidences, and the unseen threads that are pulling you in directions you never would have thought of. Life is smart enough to sometimes take you through loss to a greater kind of love. Failure can sometimes get you ready for a victory you weren't ready for. It may break your heart, not to punish you, but so that you can receive a greater joy. In the moment, you can't always see what it all means. From inside the loom, you can't always understand what's going on. Keep an open mind, trust life, and be ready to go with the flow instead of against it. And you will see that even the detours were never really detours. They were always there on the path. Of course, there will be fear. Are afraid that if you let go, you'll get lost. Fear that putting your trust in something you don't know will go badly. Fear that giving up means you're weak. Though if you really look, you'll see that most of your tiredness isn't from just going through life. The fight for it led to it. Most of your sadness hasn't been because life hasn't given you what you need. That's because you wouldn't give up what you thought you had to have. It's not a sign of faith to trust an unknown source that life will always be easy. It's about having faith that you are not writing your story by yourself. It's about trusting that hands smarter than yours are moving the pen. It's about having faith that things are happening for a reason, even if you can't see it. As you rest tonight, feel the places where your plans are still making you tense. Feel how tight your chest feels when you're trying to make things go the way you want it to. You are so tired from trying to write every chapter that you can feel it in your bones. Then let it go slowly and kindly. Let the unknown fill your lungs. Take a deep breath and trust. Take a deep breath in and feel the beautiful, unpredictable wisdom of life. Take comfort in the fact that you don't need to be in charge of everything to get where you need to go. Take comfort in the fact that even the wrong turns are leading to something good. You're not failing because things didn't go the way you planned, but you're not behind because your map doesn't show the way you should be going. You are being shown the way. You are being made. You are being led home by ways you would never have picked on your own. And maybe as you fall asleep tonight, you'll feel the first warm waves of trust coming up inside you. It's not because you know everything, not because you know everything, but because you finally realized you weren't supposed to write this whole story by yourself. Each page meant something different to you. You were meant to live, breathe, and dance with it. Once you start to believe in the intelligence that runs your life without you seeing it, another door opens quietly. You understand that the most painful battle wasn't just against the future you wanted to change. It was also against this very moment where life was already happening and offering you everything you were looking for, if you could just stop wanting things to be different. There is a peace that waits quietly beneath all your trying. It doesn't start when life finally goes the way you planned, but when you stop fighting what is already there. The mind is always making two worlds, both the world as it is now and the world as it should be right now. It keeps comparing them. It finds mistakes. It makes regretful links that go all the way back to the past. It causes huge amounts of stress that reach into the future. Because reality and fantasy never quite match up, it spins in anger, disappointment, and need. Something valuable is lost in the spinning. The constant tug-of-war between what is and what could have been takes away from the depth of the present moment. From a very young age, you learn how to measure time in order to compare it to what you were expecting, to decide if it's good enough or not, to see the present moment as something that needs to prove itself before it can be accepted. But that test was never meant to be passed. People who are stuck in the never-ending desire for things to be different can never be happy. So the war goes on every day, pulling you away from this, the only place where life really exists. It's not necessary to act like everything is fine in order to melt into the moment. It's not about making yourself happy about things that make you sad. It means giving up the things you use to fight what is already there. It means taking a deep breath into the raw, imperfect truth of this moment without needing it to be anything else first. Figuring out that peace is not the reward for beating now is what this is about. It's peace that comes after fighting stops. You split into two pieces every time you fight the present. This is where a part of you stands in the real world of your life. A part of you moves off to another place, looking for a better time that doesn't exist. That split makes you feel tense all the time. It makes you tired. It makes you anxious. It gives you a dull pain that stays with you even on your best days. Somewhere deep down, you're always giving up on yourself. You say, here is not enough all the time. That's not enough right now, that you're not good enough. The splitting stops, though, when you melt into the moment. The heart, mind, and body all go back to the same place. You land in your own skin completely. Now that you've stopped being a critic, you can start living in your life like a person. You stop waiting for things to be perfect in the future and start enjoying the beautiful messiness that is already in this breath. Giving up your goals doesn't mean you've given up on life. It doesn't mean you stop trying to get better or thinking. It means you stop basing your identity on the idea that the next accomplishment, success, or moment is the only thing that will make you happy. You don't use your dreams to punish the life you're living now. You carry them lightly and with care. You can want things to change and still love where you are. It is possible to work for a better future without denying the worth of this crazy, living, and unfinished moment. You can want more without making the present moment unpleasant by always being unhappy. Right now is not a test that you need to pass. It's not an enemy that you need to beat. As long as you live, this gift will keep giving. And the more you let it come to you just the way it is, the more energy you unlock for real change. Not change caused by shame and rejection, but change that comes from love, being fully present, and being happy. There will still be times when your mind wants to join the war again. There are times when you compare, fight, and demand that things be different right now. It's all right. That is normal. You can soften every time you become aware of it, though. To take a breath. It's time to remember that nothing has to change for you to be fully here. Sometimes it rains when you want it to be sunny. The plan might fall apart just when you needed it to. It's possible that the talk won't go as planned. Your heart might hurt because your dreams haven't come true yet. Still, even then, there is something holy going on in the present moment, something you can't touch because you're always looking for something else. You take back your own life as soon as you stop asking that now justify itself. As soon as you stop judging each event by how well it fits the story you made up, you start to really live. As you rest tonight, feel the places where you are still fighting the present. Feel how tight standards are. Feel how it hurts to compare. It should be different. I should be different. Life should be different. Feel that pressure, but don't let it go. Let it go gently and with deep kindness. Become one with the present. Turn the sound of your own breaths into something else. Let your body's weight rest against the ground and melt. Give in to the simple truth that right now the way things are, is enough to hold you. You can be at peace without fixing everything. You don't have to work hard to be present. You're already here. You can already breathe. You're already good enough. Making changes to your life might not help you heal as much as finally accepting the life you already have. Maybe the greatest happiness isn't waiting for you on a faraway sky, but waiting for you in the present moment, in the life you're living. And maybe, as you fall asleep tonight, you'll feel the first soft sweetness of coming home rise in your chest. It's not because everything is fine, because things aren't as hard as they used to be, but because you stopped giving up on the idea of what should be and finally accepted that you are a part of what is. And when you finally let go and let life happen right now, you start to understand things more deeply. You begin to understand that your path was never meant to be straight. Sometimes in life, things don't go in straight lines. Instead, they go in spirals, setbacks, and weird secret shortcuts that only make sense when you stop expecting progress to look like a straight line. When you stop judging your trip by how fast or straight it seems to go and start trusting that all of it, even the circles and detours, will take you where you need to go, you feel free. You were taught from the start to think of growth as a straight line, one step at a time, goal after goal, victory after victory in a smooth line of progress. Your teachers told you that how quickly you close the gap between where you are now and where you think you should be is a sign of success. But life never worked out that way. Life is more like a river carving a stone. It loops and bends, goes back and forth, and then jumps forward without notice. It doesn't move in straight lines like a march does, but like a wild dance. You hurt when you forget this. You tell yourself you're failing when you have to face old fears again. You tell yourself you're broken because it takes too long to heal. Your road has taken turns you didn't expect, so you tell yourself you're behind. The truth, on the other hand, is easier and more beautiful. Your life is going exactly as it should, and its rhythms are smarter than the straight lines you tried to force it to follow. It looks like circles a lot of the time. It looks like lessons learned again, but this time with a new perspective. It looks like feelings you thought you were over are coming back. This isn't because you're going backwards. It's because life is fixing you in a deeper way. Dreams seem to have been put off, but they're coming back in a way that's better than if they had come when you asked for them. It looks like years that seem to go by slowly, but were actually the time your soul needed to grow roots before it could bloom. The mind fights against this. It needs a map. It needs a clear way to get there. It wants proof that each step you take brings you closer to your goal. But growth doesn't really happen in straight lines. Wild growth is what it is. Growth that happens in the real world is messy. To really grow, you need to sometimes get lost and find a deeper part of yourself that you would never have found on a smooth road. Don't judge your worth by how fast you're going once you learn to accept that life doesn't follow a straight line. You stop judging your trip by how well it fits with your plans. You start to pay attention to the inner rhythms of how life is moving you. You start to understand that even the side trips are holy. The pauses are also part of the music. Even the bad things that happen to you are changing you in ways you can't see yet. Big steps forward can come from things that seem to be falling apart. Sometimes the times you feel lost the most are the times when things are going in a better way for you. Sometimes the dreams that don't come true make room for dreams that are better for you, that will stretch you further, that will open you more fully. When you live with an open heart, you don't waste time. If you're ready to learn from your mistakes, there are no wrong ways to go. If you are ready to see every experience as a part of how you are becoming, then you have never failed. This is what your mind will try to tell you. It will take you to the old timelines. It will tell you that you should have gone farther by now. It will make you want to give up because the years didn't go the way you thought they would. The mind knows better, though. The soul knows that life has holy rhythms that the mind can't figure out. The soul knows that what seems like a wait is often just getting ready, that what seems like failure is often just a change of direction, that what looks like a circle is often really a loop that takes you further than you think. You can get your joy back when you stop fighting the way your trip is going. You get back the power to find meaning in everything, even the twists and turns. You get the chance to enjoy the victories that are happening inside you, even though they don't show on the outside. It's possible that the healing you're doing now is not noticeable to anyone else, but is very important to your soul. You might be building a strength inside you that nothing can take away by being patient. You might be able to help other people one day by showing them how to be compassionate while going through your own problems. As you sleep tonight, feel the places in your life where you are still judging it by straight lines. Feel how tight self-judgment makes you feel. Feel what it's like to think you should be somewhere else right now. You feel like you need to have everything worked out. Then gently let it go. Breathe into the way your life is going. Breathe in the path you are taking, which is messy, beautiful, and full of surprises. Allow yourself to accept that you are not lost, even if you can't see where you're going. You're not behind. You're not hurt. That's not a fail. There are ups and downs, pauses and jumps, heartaches and wonders in your life. This is the story your soul came here to live. Maybe moving forward isn't about how fast you go. It's possible that success depends on how awake you are on the way. It's possible that success isn't about getting somewhere. Success might mean becoming the type of person who can dance with the spirals, find beauty in the detours, and believe that the hidden shortcuts will show up just when you need them to. And maybe as you fall asleep tonight, you'll feel the first soft waves of that deeper trust coming up inside you. Not because the road is now smooth, not because the trip is now easy, but because you no longer want it to be anything other than what it is, your holy, wild, and perfectly flawed path home. You just learned the deepest lessons that most people never hear. By giving up, having moments that aren't perfect, and letting go of unfinished stories, unfair demands, and the heavy weight of trying to control a river that wasn't meant to be held. You learned to breathe through pain, let go of the never-ending battle against what should be, loosen your hold on identity, and realized that hope can become a cage if you hold on to it too strongly. In the space between your reactions, you touched the silence. You found faith in not having a place to stand, and you accepted the messy, beautiful contradictions that make life real. Your hands were open to a world that was too big for views. You mourned the futures that never came true. You stepped into the mystery without needing it to explain itself. You learned that resistance makes the pain worse, and that letting life flow through you brings out a power that is stronger than any plan you could make. you turned into now. You gave in to spirals, twists, and secret shortcuts that were never wrong. During this trip, you may not have even been aware that you felt a little lighter, a little more free, a little more at ease with the way your life is going now. If this journey even slightly touched you, please share it in the comments by writing, "I am ready to live fully as I am." Let's fill the space with the energy of people who are choosing to accept themselves, choose peace, and choose life. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to keep going down this road of inner strength, freedom, and deeper truth. We're just getting started. It would be an honor to walk with you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having the guts to listen. Rest well, lovely soul.